Hi.
My chicken picture, I do look very angry.
You
I look so
do look
mad.
angry.
Why do
Like
I
you're
look so
mad that you
mad?
have to be on the live stream. That's
What did I just tell
it's
you?
like
I said I look mad because my egg got stuck.
I know, but to me it looks like you're mad that you're on the live stream.
Oh, here we go
Yeah, right.
again.
When is
Oh
she gonna
God,
get tired of live streaming?
Jesus Christ! Already another one. Hey, hey.
Ooh, what are we talking about today? What trivia? What trivia? What
Okay.
animal are we saving?
Oh boy,
Uh,
what are we gonna say today?
Hi, Aiken.
Hi, Aiken. How
Aiken
you
likes
doing,
bacon.
Tracy?
I'm all right. How are you?
Mm. Well, I'm drinking
Drinking. Oh, you must be
something
feeling
called
good.
a Ermagerd slushy. It's called
Is it
apricot
like
peach sour fruity slushy. It's 8% alcohol. It's delicious.
8%?
Yes, dear.
How many have you had so far? This would be fun.
Half of one, only half. I only drink
Uh,
about one alcoholic beverage a night, if even that. If I'm feeling real
beverage?
frisky,
One beverage?
beverage, beverage. Yeah, I know. I sound like I've had about three. A beverage, drink,
Don't
one
say that.
alcoholic drink.
I used your alcoholism as your excuse the other day.
Oh, you did. Hey, careful what you say. Rumors. You know how rumors start. I heard somebody going around saying that I was an alcoholic the other day. I was
No, I
cracking
didn't
up.
say that.
I'm.
I said I don't think that she was screaming at the person, but I did hear her say she had two IPAs at dinner.
That night I might have been a little buzzed.
Yeah, that was the
I'm not
night
gonna
when
lie. That
I
night I might have been a little
sent you
buzzed.
the thing in the private message. And then you go and you just start talking right away about it.
That night I was buzzed. That night I was
That is
buzzed.
so funny.
Yeah, that night I came
Oh
in
my god,
hot and
I
I
was
was definitely
hysterical.
buzzed. Oh God,
That
I'm
was
so sorry. You know what? Certain things get me.
it didn't bother
I don't
me
want to say
anyway.
mad. I don't want to say mad. Mad's not the right word. The internet doesn't make me mad per se, but certain things make me lose my self control.
Yeah. No, it's all right. It was only Rourke anyway that you were yelling at.
That person happens to be one of them where I lose all self control. So yeah,
Yeah.
good times, good
But
times.
yeah,
Everybody
it didn't
sucks.
matter.
Yay.
It was so funny that night. I literally thought that he had ordered like a. I thought Sharon had out a video that you could order of her showing people with the popsicle. And I believed him when he said that he had received his videotape. And I was like, what? And I was ready to post it in the live stream. And fucking, he
Oh
quick,
no.
like, text me and goes, no, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. And I'm like, ah, oh, you're lucky because I was just about to hit send. And he
So
goes,
are
go
you all
ahead.
friend? I don't know what's going on.
No, I'm not
I've
friends with
been
him. This was a while
okay.
ago when you were
Oh,
when
okay,
we had
okay.
some time
Yeah,
when
I
you
don't
were
know who's a green light or a red light these days. I've been having my own digressions.
I know,
Digressions.
right?
Jeez. My
I
God, I've
know,
only
and
had
that
half
whole
that thing. I
heated
can't even
argument
talk.
between Teddy and Roscoe. I mean, my God,
Well,
that's just
I have to say, I think Teddy might be under the misconception that he could possibly be the father of those puppies because Teddy got fixed on Valentine's Day this year.
are you kidding me? My dog got fixed on Valentine's Day.
Oh my God, it's neither one of them. We need to call Maury. Who's the daddy?
And look how mean we are. We get him on Valentine's Day. Hi, Grandma.
It
Both
just
of us,
happened to
we
work out
both
that
take them
day.
on
I know.
Valentine's Day. Well, my best memory of
It's me,
Valentine's Day
Tiffany,
was getting
Grandma.
my dog fixed. Was getting my dog fixed.
I know. I know. I felt so bad. He came back. He
It's
was such a
Tiffany.
mess too. Tracy, he
Grandma,
was
she
crying.
says yesterday to me, she goes, am I a mean person? And she said, because Debbie blocked me and I'm nice to her. And I said, well, she's jealous of all women. And Grandma says, but I'm 68. But I'm 68.
Grandma. Grandma cracks me up. No, Grandma, I don't think you're the problem. I think the problem is that Debbie's emotions come in various waves throughout the day, and sometimes the wave is up, and sometimes the wave is down.
I know. I
You
haven't
never
watched
know which
anything
wave you're
today.
going to catch, Grandma.
I haven't watched today at all. Anything on any of the,
I have not either.
Oh, you
Yeah,
haven't? Oh, I
I'm
thought you
kind of
knew anything
over.
about. I don't know. When did that? Hi,
No.
Mr. Jones. What?
Hi, Mr.
Mr.
Jones.
Mr.
Yeah,
Jones. Look at that.
Mr. Jones is nice. He's a
Oh, he
nice
is.
guy. Yeah, I know
All
him.
I see is a big pill on his
Hey,
avatar.
that makes Mr. Jones even more fun. No,
uh,
but now I get to pass
shit back.
to Tasha. Yes, you do, Grandma.
Yeah.
And boy, did
Right.
she give us a lot of content over the weekend. Man, Tracy,
Didn't she?
I don't want to gossip or anything. I only want to mention this briefly, but I got to
Yeah.
mention it. Debbie
Yeah.
was the gift that just kept on giving this weekend. I mean,
Yeah. And
I was
then,
like, oh
yeah, go ahead.
no, what happened? How did she get mad? Okay, I just want to say this. First of all, nobody ever listens to me. I give out very sound advice to people, but they all kind of brush me aside and laugh at, oh, it's just Tiffany running her mouth again. But no, I gave Mr. Spaceman some very sound advice a minute ago, and I said, Mr. Spaceman, you're making a big you're making a big mistake here, because I have a feeling this is how it's going to turn out. And I gave him an example. And it just so happens, coincidentally, that's exactly how it went down.
Yeah, I did.
But way worse than I
Yeah.
anticipated. And all I know is all I kept seeing was this murky watered jacuzzi in this crummy hotel room, and her peeping out the window looking for the place.
Oh,
And
from
I could.
Janice Dickinson.
Oh, is that who called the cops? Oh wow.
I
Yeah,
don't think she
that
really
was.
did, though.
I don't think so either. You can't call the cops because somebody says they're going to have, you know, uh, relations with another man in a hotel room. But boy,
Oh, is
that
that
was
what she said?
funny. That's why she said that they said they were calling the cops on the poor thing. And
Because she was
she was
going to have
also,
sex with
she
someone?
was obvious. I tend to
Yeah,
not
could
have
you
a filter, and
imagine?
I tend to not have a filter, and I tend to upload some things that might be I question myself about after the fact. But there's one thing I would not do, and that would be if I were in a hotel room by myself getting completely bombed off of who knows what. The last thing I'm going to do is go live and try and talk my way through some BS, and then not only that, but then release a PSA on a gentleman that I just scammed out of who knows how many thousands of dollars that happened to fund my fun weekend.
What's a PSA? Oh,
Person,
public service announcement.
yeah, public service announcement. Yeah,
Oh, she did?
yeah, she did. She did a 6 minute long PSA on Spaceman, and within the PSA, she then she blocked him from her OnlyFans and gave him back all of his money, which she hesitated on clicking that block button because it said instant refund, right? And I was watching her. I'm like, come on, click it,
No
girlfriend.
way,
Just
really?
yeah, I'm like, just click it. And she hesitated, man. She walked away from her phone. She was talking in the background. Was she using drugs? Grandma, I don't want to say because I wasn't there and I don't know. My
I don't know
assumption
either.
is I don't know. She might have been, she might not have been. I don't even think it really mattered because at the end of the day, I mean, she was just a riot. She was having a good old time. Hey, you know something, Tracy? I
Yep.
used to travel a lot for work alone. I was always by myself and I went all over the country, right? And I was bi-coastal basically every weekend. And I found myself in a lot of fun cities, but with nobody with me. I was there by myself. But I can tell you, I have never, well, besides taking my kids somewhere, and that's always fun. But as far as like vacations go or trips or whatever, I have a blast when I go by myself to places, especially new cities I've never been that are like really, like for instance, Boston. Boston was, I went a handful of times. I was always by myself. I was always there for work, but I would stay extra days because I'm absolutely in love with that city. It's one of my favorite places.
Too
And
bad we
I
didn't know each
would
other then.
I know, right? What a bummer, man. This was a long time ago.
Yeah.
I had so much fun. The people were so cool. The bars were so cool. I used to stay in the hotel, and I can't remember the name of it. And you might know it, Tracy. It was right across the street from Fenway, um, kind of facing. God, I don't even know which way that would be facing kind of like east,
The
towards Fenway.
Clarion? I don't know.
It's kind of like an older hotel. It's a little bit fancy. They had a little deli in it.
Yeah, I don't know.
But
I don't go there as much as
I
I'd
would
like
meet
to.
people, and I would, yeah, it's a cool city. If it wasn't so expensive, oh God, I would love to live there in one of those cobblestone streets. I mean, but man, oh man, the prices, I mean, that's like, you might as well move to San Francisco or New York or,
Yeah,
you know,
my
all the,
daughter, she pays sky high rent. She's learned, her lesson because I kept telling her, try looking for something a little bit cheaper, but
is she in Boston or around the metropolitan
yeah,
of
she's
Boston
in
area?
Boston.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Oh God, lucky girl. I
yeah, but
just,
in a historic section too, so
oh,
it's
no way. Okay, yeah,
because her
she's
apartment is
paying.
so small but sky high.
Oh God, I bet it's so cozy though, right? I bet it's so
She doesn't
cozy and
call
like,
it cozy. She doesn't call it cozy.
oh,
She
she
calls it
doesn't.
no. She's like really. She doesn't even have the room to work out. Like like basically, there's they made like a 1 bedroom studio into 2 bedrooms and just
Oh, no
getting
kidding.
yeah, yeah. But she's
Wow.
looking for
Well,
something else. Oh, that's
yeah, it's gosh, prices. I don't know if you noticed. I've been looking, but the prices of homes and such around are just everywhere. You used to have those states where you could kind of. I love real estate, right? I love looking at houses and things like that, and but the market, the real estate market in other cities and states and things like that. And you used to have certain states where you could find a decent, clean, single family home and a little chunk of land, right? For,
yeah.
my God, some cases under $100,000, right? It was very, very cheap. I'm telling you, I don't know what's going on. Well, I do know what's going on, inflation, but the prices on properties and homes has skyrocketed. And here's my prediction. This is what I'm afraid about. And I don't think we're going to have a repeat of 2008. I don't think it could not get that bad again, right? However, what the problem is we have now is we have an economy that's been fueled by not by actual the money we fueled our economy with is not. I don't want to say it's not real. How do I put this? It's
Borrowed.
yeah. Well, yeah. No, exactly. It's not organic, right?
Right.
Yeah, they are through the roof. Mr. Jones is insane. I can't believe.
It
I
looks
was
like
looking
both of
today, and
them actually have been to Boston, Grandma and Mr. Jones.
oh yeah,
Mhm. Yeah.
that's it,
That's
Mr.
cool.
Jones. People are exiting cities to go to more rural areas, and it's been going on now. I think heavily for a couple of years, especially people in California, because this place just sucks.
My girlfriend does
But
real estate in
yeah. So we've.
Florida, and she says it's
Mhm.
like what a house goes on the market and it's gone immediately.
That's how it is out here too. Now, the inflation out here has gotten so bad that it's getting to the kind of like the ridiculous. It was at a nice steady growth until last year, and then now all of a sudden it's getting to those levels where it's like, okay, this is getting a little ridiculous. But since the economy is not organically running right now, right? It's all been through the stimulus and unemployment money and all this stuff. It's like this is going to end. And the thing that I find so interesting now is you have all these businesses that are back open, but they can't get employees to work there. They can't find people to come back to work. So, this when this pops, whatever this is, I wouldn't even know what to call it. This fake economic movement, right? When this
Hmm.
pops, I have a feeling it's going to get, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. The world's so weird right now, though, right? Like Biden, where's Biden at? Where did what basement did they store him in? Like, is he in some,
Oh, I
cryptonic
know,
stuff?
right? There's nothing
Like, where is
it's
the
so
guy?
weird.
It's like,
I don't
where's
even
Kamala
watch the
Harris?
news. I'm not even
I don't
gonna
either. I
tell
stopped.
you. Yeah,
I stopped too. It's like, what's the point, huh?
I did. I couldn't watch it anymore. I was just
I
like,
couldn't either.
just uh
It's weird,
where does
right?
Mr. Jones live? Where he said people are moving here by the dozen.
I don't know where he's from. I don't know where Mr. Jones is from. He may not want. He stays pretty
Yeah.
anonymous.
Oh, all right. Well,
Um,
he said
yeah, I'm
here.
not sure. I'm not sure, but
That's because
5
I
minutes
was
after it
supposed
was
to.
posted by, I got a phone call. Show them they're called out to show you. Sold in wow. Yeah,
Oh
see, that's
yeah,
crazy.
that's
But at
literally gonna
least these
cost that.
homes aren't, at least it's not being funded fraudulent by a fraudulent funding source, right? Like we had back in 2008, man. Oh my God, I bought a house literally at the peak of the peak. And when that real estate market burst, oh, you're in Maine. Oh, I didn't know that, Mr. Jones.
1.5 million cash. That's crazy. I mean, used to be like if somebody came and paid cash with that much money, it would
Who
raise a
has that kind of
red flag.
cash? Yeah, like who has that kind of cash later?
Yeah, walking around with 1.5 million cash, I'll take it so that they
Yeah,
don't have to have
right?
their name ran or anything. Or
I know, right? I
yeah,
can't wait till people can start buying homes in crypto, but crypto is not quite as on the low lows people thought. They just traced all that
I don't even know what
what
crypto is.
cryptocurrency, like Bitcoin, huh?
Yeah, see, I have no, I don't, I'm not rich enough for all that. You know?
I would sit here and say, okay, we got to talk about this later, but it's actually, today was a good day. I made a little bit of money today. I made a little bit of money yesterday too. I hadn't made any money in a long time. In fact, Tracy, I lost my behind the past, oh God, 2 months. I did so well. I amassed a good little nest egg right over the past year, and it went poof. Literally, it just went,
See, I wouldn't
where'd
be
it
able
go?
to handle that. Like, just losing.
Uh, the thing is with it, it's one of those where I messed up is I didn't pull out. I got greedy and I didn't pull out when I should have. I just sat there and watched it grow and watched it grow. And I knew this was coming. I knew the day was going to come where it was going to tank. I didn't think it was going to come so soon. But what happened was, I believe, is that China banned all crypto trading. They no longer allow it. So that was the first kind of downfall and everything. And then, Elon Musk and tweets and, crypto being mined and it's not environmentally friendly and blah, blah, all this bullshit happened, right? And everything just
Crypto's
went
mine. Bitcoin is mine.
electronically through computers. So through these mining computers, and it's the thing that's so funny about crypto is it's just a digital number that exists in the abyss. It's like nothing. There's nothing tangible. There's no actual physical thing. It's just
So,
this
like, how is that not
algorithm.
environmentally friendly if it's on the computer?
Because the electricity that you need to run these highly power intensive mining computers is so much, right? So like these computers have to have massive ability to comb through these numbers, right? And all these numbers to find the correct number, and that's the crypto, that's part of the Bitcoin or whatever. So they take up so many resources as far as like basically electricity goes, and then they omit some type of gas or something. I don't know. It's just one of those things. It's just bad for the
It's
environment because
funny
of
how
the.
they couldn't figure that out before they did it.
Well, the thing is that honestly, the big poo poo about the environment is really kind of hilarious, because the problem really isn't here. It's really not anywhere around here. It's India, okay? It's China. Those two countries alone are responsible for, like, I don't know, something like 60% of the greenhouse gases, and what's a carbon footprint and all that shit that breaks down our ozone and all that. Like those two countries alone are such an issue. We could have every other country in the world lower its carbon footprint and be more
I
eco-friendly and
wonder
all this
if
shit.
people will even take note that although the COVID and the whole quarantine stuff was a pain in the ass, but if they'll take note that I do believe, didn't some of the smog and stuff over California
That's
start
what they're,
to,
yes, it did. And it was kind of crazy, but I mean, you had some countries, I don't know, I think like Ireland or Scotland or somewhere, where you had wild sheep, that were suddenly hurting themselves in these town squares, and like the wildlife came back. And what they're saying now is that we need to be prepared for environmental lockdowns. So where they're going to lock us down for months at a time to improve our environmental health quality.
Wow, that is
And
crazy. That is nuts. I mean,
yeah,
they shouldn't have even started doing things that would ruin the environment. I mean, here's the thing. For me, one of the reasons why I stopped putting faith in like the news and all that is because one of the biggest advocates on the environment was Al Gore.
oh, Mr.
And
Hypocrite of the Year, right?
well, what do you mean, hypocrite?
Well, they did an audit of his own environmental footprint, the carbon footprint, and the guy flies private jets. His
Yeah,
homes, none
but
of them
the
were
thing is
energy
with that is that's
efficient.
the media. That's
Yeah,
the media though that can control everything that somebody thinks, And I mean, look at, Trump. I mean, he has private jets, private planes, and
none of
and
these people
military
are
gold seatbelts, which are so
yeah,
unnecessary, you know?
this is
I
all,
mean,
yeah, it's just, this is just all we're just looking at,
but I
you
think
know,
that, the thing is that when people take time out of their lives to go vote and then their vote gets overrode, by the electoral college for the first time in my voting life that I've seen, and a lot of people, then basically
I
they took.
believe the electoral college, I believe that, oh wait, are you talking about this last election?
No, I'm talking about with Gore and Bush the son, where, you
Yeah,
know, yeah,
yeah,
where people with integrity, people that were credible newscasters, like were on, announcing who won the election and
yeah.
had to retract it and say, I've never had to do this before, but I'm going to have to retract who won the election. And people were lining the streets throwing eggs. Like that family,
I
Bush
remember.
was the first family that couldn't walk to the White House because I'm sorry, I just burped. Excuse me.
Oh, you're
Because
fine. You couldn't hear it.
yeah, because they were people were pelting eggs at the limousine. They couldn't walk the way, and that's something that wasn't put on the news, but until after. Now that's a sign that the American people weren't happy. You
Well,
know,
I don't know how much choice we actually have in election, right? So the best, and something I learned with my son when he was in ABA therapy and all that stuff is the easiest way to control somebody is to make them believe they have a choice. And let me give you an example of this, right? So Cash, when he was little, he would have massive issues with control. He wanted to control every scenario, every meal, everything, right? And
yeah,
since he was nonverbal at the time, the way he would control this or he would verbalize this was through tantrums, and it was a nightmare. Okay. And what I learned quickly through, a therapist and, this wonderful girl named Ashley who used to shadow me every day of the week and help me out and teach me the way to deal with these certain behaviors was that the easiest way to control him was by allowing him to think he has a choice and he made the decision and he made the choice, and that, it really wasn't up to me, it was up to him. However, I limited the choices that he had in order to control the situation myself, but made him believe that he actually was in control and he made the choice. So instead of saying,
right,
what do you
like the
want for
government.
lunch?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I
instead of saying,
believe
what do
that.
you
I
want for,
agree with you when you told
yeah,
me that. That stuck in my head. That the
yeah,
easiest way to control people was to make them think they have a choice.
right. And I think
Yeah.
that's really what we have going on here. I don't believe for 1 second that I just
Even the
have a hard time.
president, that the president even has a choice. I think that,
Yeah. Oh no,
yeah.
the president has very little control over anything. Honestly, it's Congress and
Hi,
the
Jose.
House. Hi,
Jose is
Jose.
805 Remedy, by the way.
Mr. Jones, I think they're saying that the environmental impact of mining is bad too, to control it as well. I really do. I think we're going to start to see massive regulations on crypto. It's all coming down the chute, I believe.
What
It's,
they should do is
they
get
just,
rid of the whole internet and bring back books, bring back libraries,
I know,
and bring
the
it back to the way it was because it wasn't broken.
encyclopedias. Remember
Yeah,
when you had to do a report in school and you had to
I
look in
used
the
to love
encyclopedia of the
encyclopedias.
corresponding letter? I
I
did too.
love
We had a
encyclopedias,
really nice
and they
set.
would have that the of the body, and it was like the pages were see through, and so each like the vascular, the veins, and then you flipped up the page, and it would show the bone. Like it was a diagram.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
encyclopedias were just wonderful. I
Well,
just
you had to take notes and you had to write things down and you had to
yeah,
read. Imagine that. You had to read something and you had to search for. Remember libraries? Hello. Oh
I
my God.
know. I
Remember when you'd
mean,
have to
that's
go
the
to
thing.
library and do research and find the books within all the other books? You had to
I
like be
mean,
able to
somebody told me
search.
the other day that their friend, their daughter, sorry, they're younger, not younger, but like in her early 20s, was in the
Uh-huh.
hospital and her phone died. So when I was saying that, my phone just fucking like flashed like
I heard that too.
it's
I was like,
hot as hell.
my
The
phone sounds
phone
like
is
it's
fucking steaming up. It's not even plugged in. But her daughter's phone died, and she needed to call and tell her mother to bring a charger. And the room had a phone, but like a landline phone, but she couldn't figure out how to use it
oh
and to
no.
call her and tell her. Yeah, she had to have the nurse pick, not saying, I mean, my daughter probably would be the same way. I'm not like picking on
Yeah,
anybody.
yeah,
I'm just
yeah.
saying that the nurse had to come and call the number for her because the daughter couldn't figure out how to use it.
Was
There's
it a
actually
rotary
videos.
phone? Was it a rotary phone or was it
Yeah,
just a
it
push?
was it was whatever it is. They don't even. I watched a video where the kids didn't know to pick up the receiver to
No.
hear. Yeah, they
The
didn't know to
person.
pick up the receiver, so they were dialing the number. And what they were doing was when they would stick their finger in the seven hole, they would dial it, like move it 7 times. And then say the next number was three, they'd go 3 times. The whole time with the receiver still on the phone.
That's so
And
funny.
then they'd
Well,
pick
when's
it
the
up.
last time you've seen somebody with a landline? Like I can't think of. My
I
grandparents have a my mom has a landline.
my friend's father has a landline. And I just the thing is ever the electricity went off, the landline phones, not the cordless ones that are plugged into, the landline and then you have to charge
They
them.
don't need electricity.
Then you don't need electricity. If you've got the landline phone, you've still got a connection out in the world.
That is true. How long
Yeah.
do you think, Tracy, until phone lines are gone, said and done? What do you think?
I think they'd have to do too much work to take them out.
They
And I
have to
bet
be on
you,
their way out.
I don't know. I bet you there's people in the
What do they
world
use
that
for phone lines anymore, though? Like, what do they use for the phone lines for? I suppose businesses and things like that.
businesses,
But
businesses, yeah,
what
because
else,
they're not
though?
going to use a cell phone. Businesses use landlines, and that's why they'll never cut them out. But they'll probably get them for cheaper, the businesses,
Yeah,
because
but business. A
they'll
lot of businesses go off of a VoIP system, though, of voice over IP. A lot of businesses do that now too, though, where it's all internet based. But the problem is though too is that internet is not reliable, right? Internet crashes and things like that.
yeah, the
And
electricity is that's all it takes is one push of the button,
yeah, well,
and we're done.
that's the big threat to our society now. It's not. I don't think nuclear threats are really. I mean,
Right,
there's always that
exactly. That whole nuclear
power
thing when I was a
grids.
kid growing up, and they would, have movies where they act, whereas if it was one push of the button to set off, the thing. But it really
Oh
wasn't. It
yeah.
was, now it's really more so the case that there's one push of the button. What always bothers me is the movies where they show the future, they were never
Uh-huh.
bright, you know?
That's true. Yeah,
Yeah,
they didn't
they
have a
were
very
never
long gaze, did they?
Yeah, they were
Yeah.
never bright. They were always like where we were living on some planet where there was no more air or there was like water world, no more water. I
Yeah.
remember there was one, I think it was called The Road or
Yeah.
something, and it was
Yeah.
made like in this um, you know, it was the way the guy filmed it too was kind of in a dismal kind of filter.
Yeah.
And this
Everything
lady,
looks like really like
yeah,
grummy, like
yeah,
like
grummy,
like
yeah. Did you
dirty.
see it?
Yeah, yeah, like
Yeah.
yes, I
And
did.
they were
Yeah,
like
it's
pushing this
scary.
cart along, and people were eating each other, and yeah, like you had to watch out because there was like these gangs along just regular roads of neighborhoods, and he had this can of Coke, and that was like the only colorful thing I think in the movie was that was his, you know,
Well, check this
treasure
out. It's
almost.
like basically like how Venezuela is, you know. If
Venezuela
you look at
now.
parts of Venezuela, oh yeah, it's been bad over there for a long time. They had massive inflation of their
Not
the
when that's because that's
Venezuelan.
since Hugo Chavez died, right?
Yeah, yeah, they had that
Yeah,
one.
he
Who's the
was
guy
good,
over there now? Yeah,
Hugo
he was
Chavez was
better
a
than
good
the new
leader.
guy. The
Oh,
new guy,
absolutely.
I don't know. I don't know his name, but the Venezuelan what's their currency called? The boulevard or the not the boulevard. the I can't think of it, but their inflation was like ridiculous, which is I'm afraid that's going to happen. That's
The
going to happen over
peso?
here.
No, I don't know
No,
what
not
it
the
is in
peso.
Venezuela.
No, it's the boulevard, the
Oh, I never
Venezuelan
heard.
boulevard. TV
Never
is all
heard of it.
digital too.
Here's the thing with
Yeah,
Hugo Chavez. See, Hugo Chavez was a great leader, and I know people who weren't, you know, thinking back then that it was gonna like even if there was a matter of age difference and they weren't voting yet, so they weren't into
yeah.
politics. See, but when Hugo Chavez, um, but I believe you probably, well, I
He
don't
was
know.
he was corrupt too, but he wasn't as bad as the guy they have there now. And I can't think of his name, but that
But
this guy they
Hugo
have in
Chavez
there,
did a lot of good things for this country. This
he
country,
he
the
he
U.S.
did. Hugo Chavez did. I
Yes,
can't speak too intelligently on Hugo Chavez because I honestly don't know that much about him.
yeah. He used
Um,
to when people who were poor for some reason their gas over there and their oil and everything was a lot low. So what he would do
they're
was
the biggest.
give,
They have the biggest oil reserve in the world. Do you
yeah,
know
and
that?
so he would share.
Yeah.
He would share Chavez. So Joe Kennedy and Hugo Chavez used to have this program, which I don't even think it's in effect anymore. And it was, for low income, like the elderly and stuff, for them to have 100 free gallons of oil, and they would send it out, and it was all in collaboration with Joe Kennedy and Hugo Chavez, and that was who sponsored it. And
Oh
they would,
wow.
oh yeah, yeah, and they would send out. I remember my my friend's father, the one who still has the landline, getting a certificate in the mail saying, where it came from, and it was for 100 free, just out of the blue, 100 free gallons of oil because he must have been on because of the Social Security or whatever it was. For some reason, they knew, he was a senior and low income, and it looked. The thing was the shame of it was that it was in something that no, some people would maybe throw away thinking it was junk mail, but it wasn't. It was a real
Wow.
legit, yeah, any company, and they would cover for it was Joe for Fuel was the program, Joe for Fuel or something,
It's
Joe
so
for Oil,
sad what's going
Joe,
on
Joe for
over there
Oil,
now.
Joe
Have
for
you
Oil.
seen,
Yeah,
when you get a
no,
chance, Tracy, search on YouTube for Venezuela, what's going on now.
it'll
And
depress me because I knew as soon as he died that
yeah, it's
Venezuela,
bad.
we were gonna, yeah, I knew it was gonna be bad.
Oh, it's so
And
bad, dude.
when he went to New York and he gave a speech right after George Bush, the son, gave a speech, and this is when I loved Hugo Chavez. This is when I knew I liked that guy. He got on at the podium and he
Hmm.
went, he sniffed and he goes, I can still, and he goes, El Diablo was here. I can still smell the sulfur.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
that's what he said
That's
about his book.
crazy.
Yeah, he wasn't
Well,
scared.
a lot of foreign leaders aren't scared of our leadership here. Especially it seems like the Central America, or where the hell is Venezuela anyways? Yeah, that's down there somewhere.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
but you need to Google, or you need to search on YouTube how Venezuelans live today and what's going on there, Tracy. Oh, it's so sad.
I get so
It's so sad.
sad. I remember another time
Oh,
was Rand
it's so
Paul.
bad. They're eating their own pets. They have no food. Tracy, they have no
Same with
food.
North
They wait in
Korea. They
these
had
cute.
just recently ate all their pet dogs.
No, well, that's been like that over there for a long time. I follow this
I
girl called
know, but the leader of the country, Sean Mack, I had him look it up and read it on here the other night, and nobody
mhm.
cared. Nobody cared. It was
No,
all
no, no. No, it's bad. I mean, there's a lot of places. Speaking of sad situations, did you hear about that condo building in Florida? I'm sure you had to have that
no.
collapse.
I don't watch news.
I don't either, but this flew by my face on a news feed that I don't look at, that I was looking at
Yeah,
in
right.
in Florida, in Surf City, I believe the city's called, in Florida, Tracy, a 12-story a condo building in the middle of the night for no reason. They don't, obviously there's structural problems, but half of this building collapsed. And I mean, when I say collapsed, I'm talking like 9/11 style. All the floors just went down in half of this building with all the people. It was 1 o'clock in the morning. Everybody was asleep in bed. There's
Oh my
150
God.
missing people. Oh my God.
That is so insane. That's
That
so
shouldn't
insane.
happen here with all of our building regulations.
Now,
And,
was it
and
a over 55 building or
no,
something
it
like
wasn't. No, nope. It
that?
was just a regular condo building. It was ocean close. I don't think it was ocean front, but it was a few blocks away from the ocean.
So they
They're
probably had
saying that
money.
it seems like it was more of like a middle class type. It was a decent looking building, but it was older, and they had found some structural issues with the building in the past they didn't address, and there are some problems with erosion. So the land there is sinking at a certain rate because of this, erosion from the sea and everything else. But man, this thing just in the middle. And I read a
Isn't
story
that
today
crazy?
from this man who lived there.
You did?
Mm-hmm. What?
Read a
What
story
I
from
do?
this man who lived it?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I read a story about this man who lived there. And that night, he decided to, his girlfriend begged him to stay at her house. He normally goes home on weeknights, but there was a Brazilian soccer match that they watched together. Then there was something going on with this game. These kids were playing. He went to retrieve a ball and he got soaking wet in the process. And so she was drying his clothes for him. She's like, why don't you just stay here? And he was like, no, I have my personal training in the morning, blah, blah, blah. She's like, oh, come on, just stay. So he decided to stay because his clothes were in the dryer drying and because they were wet. And he was woken up.
Obviously.
Yeah, yeah, he was
Because
woken
they
up.
were wet.
Yeah, yeah,
They were-
yeah, 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 yeah. Just for the slower bunch out there. They were wet, but he
yeah.
was woken up at like 4 a.m. from phone calls from neighbors and stuff trying to find him. And he answered his phone, and they're like, so if this man would have gone home that night, right, he would have
Yeah.
been asleep in bed and he would have been squashed. He lived on the 8th floor. So he would have had 4 floors above him that would have came down on him. And then 8, however many floors, 7 floors below him that he would have been on top of. He would have been squashed by his own apartment building. I mean, I'm talking like, dude, you talk about some crazy fate right there,
The
and I
thing
can't
is
even
though, in any of the reports, are they even like saying why the structural damage was not addressed? Like, I
addressed.
mean, yeah,
I haven't read too much into it because it's so incredibly sad, but it has been noted by different, city, uh, what do they call them? The people who come by
officials,
and they do the coding, right? So they do the building checks every year, and there was
the inspectors,
structural
yeah.
problems issued a few years back, and they did nothing
Yeah,
about
but
it.
look at
And
the
so,
fertilizer building in West Texas, the fertilizer plant. And it had been, also cited for things. And that place,
oh, the one
like,
that blew up.
yeah, wiped out that town. And I'm telling you, Tiffany, if you have another device right now in front of you, or you could do it,
I don't
look
know.
up,
They're all
look,
dead.
look, if anybody does, Mr. Jones, if you do, or Grandma, or anybody who's here, look up Joe Birdie. Berti. And to me, Tiffany, and I'm sorry, like, I mean, maybe like talking about it is even wrong, but there's no way in hell that somebody who survived one, you know, bombing or explosion, I'm going to say explosion, is going to be 2 days, within 2 days, at the scene of another explosion,
I
taking,
don't know. Stranger things have happened. uh, you know, oh, they think it's a sinkhole. That would make sense, Mr. Jones, if it was a sinkhole, because if the pool fell into, there's no reason a pool would go down into the ground if, because of structural problems. So if the pool then dropped below wherever it was sitting into the ground, the only thing that would make sense would be a sinkhole, because structural, if the structure became unstable and then that's, it fell, nothing should be in the ground, right? It should all just be on top of everything else.
why
They
would they
didn't.
not
That's,
know that there was sinkholes before they
I don't
filled
know. They
them up?
probably, I don't, I don't know. I don't understand sinkholes. I know they're bizarre, and I'm surprised more people don't die from sinkholes. Tracy, have you seen those ones that just like show up in the middle of a road? Have you seen those before? Like all of a sudden
I
there's a
wonder if
road, and
that
all of a
has
sudden,
something to do with when their mind, like how far minds really go under. I've seen, shows where they go down in an elevator into like like I think it was in New Mexico or somewhere, Colorado, somewhere where there's like this underground military thing, and they were going down. I mean,
well,
like
Chapo was
really.
digging tunnels underground to smuggle drugs over here, man. He's got miles and miles of tunnels from Mexico to the United States for people to run drugs, and they had electricity. They had little choo-choo trains, little, not choo-choo trains, but little like train tracks in them. They had
Those
oxygen lines
silver
run through
spoons.
them. What's that?
He's like wearing a conductor's hat. All aboard,
Dude,
El Chapo.
they dug that son of a bitch out of jail. Okay. They straight up
No, they
dug
didn't.
him, not recently, but before they caught him this last time, they dug his ass out of jail. They had this complex tunnel that he dropped down into somehow, emerged out the other side. Then they had vehicles waiting for him. That guy, then he went and had facial plastic surgery done to his face. That guy was, he's
Really? Who
crazy.
is that again?
El Chapo, the big
Is
drug
he
guy
dead
from
now?
Mexico. No, he's in prison. He's in prison. His
Who's
wife
the
just got
one that they
charged.
like? Who's the one that they was the other one? No. Oh my God, what was his name? They shot him. They killed him.
The drug guy?
Um, yeah. Um,
Um,
they
oh,
shot him on some roof, and it was a big shootout.
yeah, I know who you mean. I can't think of his name.
He was, big,
Um,
like big time.
yeah,
I keep wanting to think it started with a P, but I can't. I'm not sure.
yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about. I can see him, but I can't think of his name.
Yeah, he was like a little overweight, and he like fell on this roof,
Yeah,
and they were shooting him.
yeah,
I remember like the clipping of it. But, oh no! Oh my God! Oh my God! It's right on the tip of my tongue.
I hate that. It'll come to you.
Yeah. If anybody
When
knows
Lou,
who that was, so,
The one in Louisiana is unreal. Yeah, there's sinkholes are really, really scary. You would think that you would think we would have the technology to be able to, through infrared or some type of
yeah,
device,
that's what
be
I was
able
saying.
to
Or even when they were
determine this.
building,
Well, but the
like when they're
sinkholes
building
that
it,
come.
don't they have basements like in there? Like,
No,
uh,
nothing. No, there's no basements near the coast. So, like for instance, like you will not find a single dwelling in the state of California because of earthquakes with a basement. We have no basements out here. They don't exist. Um,
oh,
because the ground to here moves way too much, right? So, like where this place was, since it was near the coast, or the erosion, Florida's in a weird spot where they have a lot of the coastline is because of the erosion of the beaches and things like that. They're losing a lot of their coastlines and stuff in certain spots. So the
Well,
ground
that's
is
happening
moving.
at the Cape too. It's happening all over.
Oh, is it really? Yeah, they're sinking into the ground. Do you guys have basements in Massachusetts?
Yeah.
Oh, you do? Do you guys have earthquakes
Um,
out there? You must not. You must not
we've
have any
had an
earthquakes.
earthquake. I mean, we have had like natural weather, weather things go on that but usually when we have an earthquake, like we just sit here and like we think that it's in our head because it's so small. And then somebody will go, "Oh,
Yeah.
did you feel that little earthquake on the news?" And you're like, "Oh, I just thought that was in my head." You know what I mean? Like as if we all shake a little bit. But
Yeah. I
yeah.
have that happen to
But
me if I'm really tired. Like I'll be standing, I'll think there's an earthquake. I'm like, oh, it's just my
uh,
like my equilibrium. You know
have
what I mean?
you been in a huge earthquake? Let me just get something to drink. I'll be right back. Go ahead. Talk
Oh,
for a
okay.
second. All right.
Yeah, I've seen those videos on those sinkholes, and they're crazy. It's something that's very unreal unless you've seen it or experienced it. Like I can't quite figure. I understand how they happen. I understand the basic science behind them and why they would happen, but the fact that I mean, I guess how would you determine that that's going on? I would think though that they would have some sort of technology or monitor system in place to detect a massive movement of soil or earth or just density underneath a building. Like there's got to be something out there where that could be easily placed into the ground, right? That could determine a sudden loss of density in underneath a building or a structure that could help prevent these things. I mean, but like, where would you put them, and how would they, get the data back? I don't know. It seems like it would be easy thing
Oh
to.
yeah. Mr. Jones says the frost can go 6 feet down here in a cold winter, so everything has to be built around the ground freezing because there's frost heaves, which for a long time, Tiffany, I'm sorry if I just interrupted you. I'm very
Mhm.
sorry.
Oh no,
He
you're
goes,
fine.
mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Like
That's why
that's
my
never
chicken looks. That's
happened.
why my chicken picture looks so mad. That's why I'm angry. Okay, go ahead. No, no, no.
Yeah.
I'm interested. I'm interested. I'm curious about this. I don't
Yeah,
understand anything about
for a
frost.
long time, I didn't know that because it would say, look out for frosties, like on the side of the road, like when you're driving. And that's the frost going and making the ground buckle. And I was like, I said to somebody one time, what's a frosty? And they told me, exactly what Mr. Jones is saying. And I said, yeah, right. And that's how unaware I am of everything. I'm just like la di da, okay.
That's a great way to be sometimes, Tracy. Let me tell you, I wouldn't diss your unawareness, because sometimes, they say
I
ignorance,
get too
not that you're
stressed.
ignorant. Yeah.
No, I get
Yeah.
too stressed. It's not like that I don't know what's going on, but once I'll start reading it or watching stuff, but I didn't like but see frosties to me are not as
But
um
explain this to me. So the frost goes down into the ground and makes all the things under the ground hard.
yeah, and then it buckles, it freezes, it
Ah.
pushes the road up, see, and then creates a huge drop when it melts. So it's like will create like
Oh,
a
so
little snap
it expands, and then so when things
when
are
it heats back up.
frozen, yeah, when they're
Yeah.
frozen, they get bigger, right? So when a liquid freezes, it's bigger. That's why if you put a water bottle
No,
in the
it gets
freezer,
smaller.
it
Like when
balloons.
it solidifies, it gets hard. So then when the heat comes and it melts, but that would bring it back down. But that's just then it like okay, like in cooling, like cryogenic, ice expands. Yeah, but in cryogenic, if you need to fit something through a small hole, you heat it up, then put it through, and then you like freeze it, and then it gets smaller and keeps it in there in
Hold on
cryogenic.
one sec. Hold on one sec. I'll be right back. Hold on.
Uh, all right. right? Drainage is key to construction here. But I thought that like when you freeze, because like I don't know, I'm confused. I'm very confused. All I knew is that when you needed to put something through, like in metal, like cryogenic for cooling, you would have to heat it.
Liquids in solid form expand. Liquids, and when you freeze a liquid, it expands, right? The molecules get bigger and it gets bigger. When you heat it up, it gets they are
Oh, I
smaller, right? So
see what you're
that's probably
saying because
why.
liquid, yeah, liquid. Okay, so you're talking liquid because when you like put a beer in the freezer and then
Yeah,
you,
ice expand. Yeah, exactly. You put
yeah,
a beer in a freezer and it explodes, right? Yeah, drainage is
yeah,
key to construction here. You know, drainage is key to a lot of things. That's why when we have all these massive storms like in Texas and places like that, that's why they have so much flooding, Tracy, is because the water has nowhere to go. So when you get these big hurricanes in certain places in Texas where it's super flat and it's a lot of urban, you know, growth out there. So you have all this asphalt and all these cement and all this stuff. The water has nowhere to go. That's why it floods so bad out there, right? Because the water, there's no proper drainage. That's why we have
did
these
you ever
massive.
watch that have you ever listened to those 911 calls on, YouTube? There's like certain
Mm-hmm,
channels that have
mm-hmm. I
recorded
can't.
ones,
Oh
and
God,
there
I have
was
a hard time
one
with
where this
those.
lady, oh my God, I can't even believe the woman who was the 911 operator didn't get, well, she was leaving her job. That's why she was acting the way she was. Like that was her last night. And fucking this lady
Oh, the woman
was
in the car who was
in the
flooding,
truck.
who died.
Yes,
Oh,
and she died. And for like a half an hour, and this poor woman is
she
going, please,
berated
I
her.
don't want.
She made
She
fun.
berated her.
Yes.
She was like, pray with
Oh,
me. And she was like, no, you can pray. Oh my
oh,
God.
Tracy, that was one of the worst things I've ever heard. I wanted to throat punch that lady. I mean, that was, you
So
talk
sad.
about being cruel. That poor
Yeah.
thing was terrified. Could you imagine your life? And then she drowned to
She
death.
died.
Oh,
Yeah. And she wasn't even
yes.
far. Like, if she might have like started to beep when the car started going. See, I know she couldn't swim, but man, but
You
I
know,
would
those
say what I would
situations
do.
happen so
Yes.
fast, though. Those happen
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
fast. And before you know it, you're in trouble and you pan. She was clearly panicked. But the thing that was so sad about it is she just wanted some compassion and some like support, right? She
Yeah.
just wanted somebody, this woman to like be kind to her. And she was like, how did you? She was berating her for being too so
Berating
stupid.
her, calling her
Oh,
stupid. Yeah. Oh my God. Said she didn't care. It was her last night and everything. Like,
oh God. That's why, man.
and they were
Yeah,
like,
that,
there's nobody to come help you. There's nobody to come help you. I mean, this
oh my
poor,
God. You know what I watched the other day?
uh,
I watched uh, I started watching these flight, like airplane type videos, airplane, different type of airplane disasters and things like that, which I shouldn't watch. But and it was this documentary about this flight that took off from oh God, let me remember this correctly. It took off from Germany, I want to say, and it was headed to shit. Where was it heading to? It took off in Switzerland and it was heading, I believe, to Germany or somewhere along those lines. And the freak accident of this airplane was this. This is a while ago. This was a bunch of kids that were on some sort of, they were all gifted kids that had different types, I believe, different types of theater arts type um, abilities, right? They're all very, very gifted, talented dancers and artists and things like that, these little kids. And they were on a chartered flight with their school to go to some convention or some performance, some type of deal, right? Well, they missed their original flight, okay? And they were heading home from this trip or heading to this trip, and they missed their flight and they had to go charter another plane. So it was a plane full of children with a couple of different passengers, I believe, like a couple of vacationers or whatever, which were families. And what happened was the biggest, most freak accident that you could ever even imagine happening in the air with commercial type airlines. But they had this air traffic control center in, I believe, in Sweden or Switzerland somewhere. Check
yeah.
this out. they're short one guy. It's a very sleepy airport. They don't have a lot of air traffic coming through. But what these FTC or air traffic control people would do in this particular station is they would take naps on their shift because it was so quiet. So they had this one guy handling everything. He happened to be bombarded with some other type of situation. The plane that had the children in it they have these I forget what they're called, but they have a collision detection warning system in these airplanes, right?
Yeah.
So this plane was flying at a very high rate of speed towards a freight plane, like a DHL, something that was carrying a bunch of packages or whatever, right? That was coming at it. Now, what had happened was because they rerouted one of these planes for some freak reason, this guy was busy handling some other call, some other air situation that was going on, not paying attention to these other planes, and these two planes are about to collide. So check this out. So in the one freight plane, the DHL plane or whatever, their collision detection warning system was alerting them that a plane was they're about to collide. They were telling them to climb altitude. Now in the other plane with the children and stuff, their detection system went off too. And it was telling it to decline, right? Now, for whatever reason, the pilots in this plane decided to ignore their alert and they went up. They accelerated up. Now, this other guy who was busy noticed there was a situation, they're about to crash. He comes back to goes back to helping them out. And he told them to overwrite their system and he told them to increase altitude. Their warning system told them to decline altitude. Now, apparently in air, and when you're a pilot, the go-to suggestion is to always listen to the onboard instrumentation and follow its guidance, right? But they, for whatever reason, they didn't listen to it and they've listened to the air traffic control guy. Well, these planes collided, right? And it was horrific. It ripped off the roof of this plane with all the kids. Kids were sucked out. They flew out in the air. They landed on the ground. There was a man, families found their children on the ground the next day. It was horrible.
Hello?
But check this out.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
No, your voice went out after you said these planes collided and it was horrific.
Oh, and the children were thrown into the air and they landed on the city below. There was parents of these kids that found their kids on the ground the next day. It was this horrible accident, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the worst part of this is the guy who was the air traffic controller in this place in Sweden or Switzerland. The mistake he made was I mean, when it boiled down to it, it wasn't really his fault. His colleague was taking a nap when he shouldn't have been and left him alone to handle a two-person job.
Right.
He did the best he could. He messed up, but it was, when it boiled down to it, it was the type of error that it wasn't 100% his fault. There was all kinds of things in play, but the people of wherever the school was with all these kids were so angry at this guy after the fact, who I can imagine had tremendous guilt because all these kids who died, found him one day in the streets. He quit his job, but they found him after the fact and they murdered this guy.
That's
Citizens.
horrible.
Oh, actually, I'm sorry. The father of one of the families that had died, that not the school, but the father of these, his wife and his two kids were coming home from a holiday, found this air traffic controller, and then he murdered him. And people deemed him a hero. Isn't that awful? Oh, God.
Mm-hmm.
It's a crazy story, though. It's one of those ones. I don't know why I started watching flight videos.
There was one where he killed the guy who taken his son right in the courthouse. Have you ever seen that clipping?
No, I didn't see that.
Oh my God. And he was a hero. He got away with it. It was a crime of passion. And he, oh my God, it was the best. And I'm sorry to say that, but it really was the best. This guy was his karate instructor, and this guy's son, a karate instructor, and he took him and he kidnapped him and was, like doing things. And they got the son back, but so they caught the guy and the son was still alive. And so, of course, the son probably had some, he was only like 9 or something. He wasn't a big, adult kid. Not an adult, but didn't go of
He's
his
just
own
a
accord.
baby. He was just a
Yeah, didn't
baby,
go
of
of his accord.
course.
Yeah. And so at the day, it had to be in somewhere like where they would wear hats or boots or something, because the guy, there used to be it was a row of payphones, and the father of the guy, they had it all right on video. The father of the guy was on the payphone, turned away, and there was two,
Hmm.
like cops or whatever, authorities, and they're walking with the guy in the courthouse. So when they were bringing the guy who took his son, and the guy reaches down into his boot, takes his gun out, and turns and pops
Would
that
you
guy
not do
right
that
in the
too?
temple.
Would you not do
Huh?
that too? Oh man,
Oh
I would do
yeah.
that too. Oh, I would do
Oh
that
yeah.
too.
You couldn't do it now because of all the security and stuff, but
I
that
know.
was one. I'm sure that that guy still feels
There's
like he didn't protect his son enough. But at least that is one of the best revenge things. If you would get a chance, look it up. That
I
guy,
will.
he
I
popped him
will.
right in the temple. He got him right
There's
in the
been
temple,
some
and
really
there was
great
cops
ones of
there.
those that I've seen where there were people's children that have been hurt and they've beat these people down, and the judges have been where they have to hold them accountable. They've been very gentle about it and given them like 1 day in jail. You know what I mean? That where it's been situations that were so horrific that they understood why, even though you can't take
I think
justice or
every parent that ever had anything happen to their kid was totally, out for that guy. I mean, it was
absolutely.
the best,
Ugh.
most well orchestrated too. How he was able to pop that guy right in the temple when there
I
was two cops, right?
I
There's
think I've
one cop.
seen that, Tracy. I want to say I've seen it. It's kind of old though, right? This happened a
Yeah,
while ago. Yeah,
yeah,
I think I've
yeah.
seen that before.
Tell you what else
That's
I
crazy.
saw because I was alive for it, right? Was when they had that space shuttle and that teacher, from New Hampshire
Oh,
was going up.
Krista
Yeah,
McCullough.
Christine McCall. Yeah, and her parents.
Christina McCullough. I did a report on her in the fourth grade.
Did you?
Yes, I
Yeah,
did. Yep.
her
Yep.
parents when they were showing, like they showed this clipping of her parents, watching and how this space they were going, walking to the shuttle and waving at everybody, and the parents were like so proud, and then it showed the camera was right on her parents' faces, and it showed they looked,
Oh my
they're
God.
watching like everybody in the crowd, and it showed the shuttle take off, and then when it exploded, the
Right
look on
there.
her parents' faces
Oh
was
God.
pure confusion. Like the mother's face looked like, was that supposed to happen? Like the pure confusion on her parents' faces.
How
I'll
would you
never forget it.
process that though? Like it wouldn't make sense right away. Like the human brain can only process something like that so quickly, right? And
Yeah.
oh God, yeah, I did a report. I did a report on her in the fourth grade. When did that happen, Tracy? I think that had to have happened though in the
In the
early
80s.
80s.
Yeah, the 80s. Yeah. Because
Yeah.
there's a song called, he says, uh, it was 1980 something. And he talks about the 70s. He goes, he's got to be the person who does the song, it's a country song. I love it. I get chills every time I think of it. Every time, I hear the song, because he talks about shit that was exactly how it was. Because when I was it was the 70s, and you remember the day that Elvis died, because that day was the whole world cried, and I can't even talk about it. It's so sad.
Oh. Why
So
do we always
sad.
cry when we live
I
stream together?
know, right?
Why do we?
It's just so sad because I remember it because my mother calling me in and saying, oh, Elvis died, and I cried, I cried and cried. I was just a little kid.
You know who I cried about when he died? You know who I cried about? Michael
Michael
Jackson.
Jackson. Yeah.
He died the
Hmm.
day after Cash was born. I was still in the hospital and I loved Michael Jackson. Yeah, I get he's a creep and he did all that
No,
weird
he's
shit, but
not. He's
I
not a
don't know.
creep.
I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced. Tracy, here's the thing. I loved Michael Jackson's music so much. And
Yes,
when he died, it was the day after it was the 25th of June, 2009, right? Because Cash
yes.
was born the day before, and I was leaving the hospital, and I made them wait. They were going to wheel me out to the car, and I refused to leave because I wanted to watch the news because he had just gone into cardiac arrest, and I was so upset. And these nurses were like, "You have to go." I'm like, "I'm not going anywhere." I got to see what
Yeah.
happens to him.
Did you ever
Tracy,
watch that
have you?
documentary? This is it.
Yes, I
Did you ever watch
have.
that?
Yes, I
Oh,
have. It was weird. It was weird. Tracy, have you been to Graceland before? I've actually been to Graceland a long
have
time
you?
ago.
No,
hmm
I've never
It was
been.
interesting. Yeah, it was
My sister
interesting.
went. My sister
It was
went there.
it's a very flat and kind of sparse town around Graceland.
Yeah,
But the
yeah.
property was beautiful. The house was like, I mean, it was pretty interesting. But what was even more interesting was his great because he's buried right there, right? And
Yeah.
the fans that congregate there, and they pilgrims there and these groups and on these, and
Oh,
and and oh, they're so emotional. See, I'm not a huge Elvis was a little bit before my
right. It was
era.
before your time. Yeah. And but
Yeah,
when
yeah,
during that time, like now, Michael Jackson, he was great. But now, when you think about it, they don't see things like as
we
we
don't
see
have those
them.
superstars anymore, do we,
Yeah,
Tracy?
they
Like
don't
who
have them.
who could you say from this era, like this like I don't know, past ten, like who is the big music star? Like who's the big person that there is none?
Justin Timberlake. I
Yeah,
mean, but
no, he's
still,
passed. He's passed though too. He's
yeah,
passed. Like right current times. I can't think of anybody.
he is passed. You're right, and there is none. They have nobody to look at, and the thing, but when I was young, and Elvis would be on. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
you watch
yeah.
every Elvis movie. You'd watch. And my daughter, and then not to even like bring up something as morbid, but my daughter knows like my funeral play Elvis gospel. You know what I mean? Because fucking
Yeah,
he was,
yeah, yeah. Well, because that's important music to you. I have music like that too. I get it. I totally
yeah,
get it.
and it just
I
was
totally get
so,
it.
and it was different. There's no toy stores anymore.
I know.
I don't know
Remember
about where
toy
you are.
stores? No,
You
they all
don't have,
closed down.
yeah,
Nothing.
there's no toy stores,
No Toys R Us, no FAO shorts, no nothing.
no
There's
child wear, no
nope.
child wear. Oh my God,
Yeah.
my aunt had a few Velvet Elvis pictures in her living room. He was going to come to Spring, where, like I lived at the time was, and he was going to come there and, um, he had a concert set. In fact, in Maine, didn't he had just done a concert in Maine? I don't know how old Mr. Jones is, but I know that my friend talks about that one of the last concerts that he did was in Maine because he was in this area doing concerts. My mother had promised me, we probably weren't going to go because she didn't have tickets yet. But I mean, she was, I was always Mrs. Presley when we would play house. I was always Mrs. Presley.
Oh.
Yeah, but they don't even have. When I was growing up, we had Muhammad Ali and Howard Cosell, and Howard Cosell was one of the sports announcers, and the
hmm
boxing matches. Muhammad Ali was, Muhammad Ali, floats like a butterfly and sings like a bee. And yeah, there was like,
Yeah.
yeah, we were there was so much more, uh, like I guess like
Nostalgia
things to
and
unite people and
well,
that
remember the space program, the sun stuff, that was a huge, huge, huge common ground for Americans. I think that we celebrated these
Oh, he
events
died
that
before he could perform. See, his mother had tickets to that
oh
Portland, Maine
wow.
show. He died. She must treasure those tickets, and at the same
Oh,
time,
those have got to be worth some money now.
she must think to herself what that chance was. She was going to see Elvis, and fucking, I mean, I'm telling you, I have such envy for people who saw Elvis because
Oh, he
that,
died in Maine.
oh, he died. Oh, he did? He died in, I thought he died at Graceland.
I did too.
I thought that he had gone home. He didn't feel good or something. I thought he
That's what
went
I
and was
thought
bleeding in the
too.
bathroom.
Yeah, I thought he died in his bathroom in his home.
Me too. And that's funny because my friend, my dad, not my dad, my friend's father, the guy I keep talking about, he said the same thing, and I didn't believe him. So I wonder. That's interesting. So was he at like a? Did he have like a hotel? Was it at a hotel he died? I didn't
Had
know
to
that. I
have
wonder what.
been. I didn't either. I thought he died on his toilet.
I did too. I thought he was in his own, with that ginger or whatever that woman he was dating at the time. And yeah,
Him and
I
Priscilla
oh
weren't together?
no, oh no, mm-mm. Which was such a weird thing with him and Priscilla. She was a child, and they got.
No.
She was a child. Oh yeah,
How old was she?
14.
17? What?
Yeah,
How old was
um,
he?
he was in his early 20s. See, it was a weird thing with that he got drafted, where you could see, Pat Boone, these other, stars that were just the same age as Elvis. They didn't get drafted, but Elvis got drafted for some reason. And they made a big thing of it. And I don't even think they let him go home when his mother was dying. They let him go home for the funeral. And he had changed. Like it seemed then he had started to take some. I think that the studios did that to him. I really do. I think he was under some kind of contract and they, there was a lot of. I'll tell you something else weird. I was looking up at pictures of Elvis when he was in the service. I swear to you, and even my friend said the same thing, that it looked like Lee Harvey Oswald was standing next to him in the service at the same time, when he
That's
was
weird.
Kennedy.
What's
Yeah.
your favorite Elvis song?
Oh, I got many. Geez. I
Mine's
mean,
Suspicious Eyes.
Suspicious Minds.
What did I call it?
Suspicious Minds.
Suspicious Eyes?
Eyes. Yeah, it's Suspicious Minds. Yeah.
That's my
Uh,
favorite, hands down.
I think I love Jailhouse Rock. My favorite Michael Jackson song is
Hmm.
Rockin' Robin.
See, mine is probably, oh gosh, Human Nature. I like a lot, and I like um uh hey, pretty baby with your high heels on. What's that song called?
Oh yeah. I
Uh,
like you
like a
never
man has
ever.
ever known.
Yeah. Uh,
Uh,
like
I'm
what's the
just a
name of that song?
product of loneliness. I feel the something in your walk, your talk, your dress. I've been from
Yeah.
9 to 5.
What's the name of that song?
I can't think now. I used to do it at karaoke all the time.
I also like I want to love you.
The way
Yeah.
you make me feel. The way you make
So,
me
oh yeah,
feel.
the way
Duh.
you make me feel. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So he did die at home. Okay. I
Oh,
was
he did
right
die at
when I was
home.
yelling at that old man. My brother, I was yelling at the old. You're wrong. Elvis died at Graceland. I know
Yeah, I
everything
could have
about
sworn
Elvis.
because they did this whole presentation as you walk through his house. Like they'd have this, like you stop in certain rooms and then they like lower the lights and they brighten up certain parts of the room. They'd be like, "This is where Elvis used to," And when you got to the bedroom, they were like, "This is where Elvis died, croaked on the toilet." You know what I mean? So that was like,
Yeah. Hi, Tommy Highway. Yeah, see, he didn't make the Portland show. That's the thing. He was coming to New England. So my mother had said, oh, we'll go see him, and I mean, I don't know. Maybe she could have gotten tickets. Who knows? Maybe she was going to surprise me. My mother would do that sometimes, you know, sometimes
oh,
surprise
I
me
was
with
supposed to
shit.
see Elton John for my birthday one year. And I fell down and I hit my head and I was late getting ready to go. And even though we had 2 days before the concert, my family wouldn't wait for me, even though it was my birthday trip, and they left without me.
That's
It was his
awful.
last. I know, aren't they? I'll never forgive them for that. I love Elton
He
John so
never even
much.
meets the person who he writes the words and the other guy, Bernie something, writes
Oh yes. His
like the
songwriter was
music,
Benny, or the
Bernie
songwriter.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the guy is an amazing songwriter. But you know what was so crazy is like the way he would write songs. So like you know that one song, someone save my life, someone
Yeah,
save
someone
my
saved
life.
my life
Yeah, that's
tonight.
about
Yeah.
suicide. It's like this peppy like pop song. And the guy wanted to kill
Yeah,
himself.
pop, peppy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, yeah.
Duh.
Oh yeah, it's a peppy, happy go.
Do you know how
How's the rest
many
of the song go? I
farewell
can't think of it.
concerts Elton John had? He must have had.
Yeah, well, guess what? The one I was
That
supposed
was
to
his
go to, I
last
missed, and
one.
he's my favorite. Yeah, it was his last one. My family wouldn't even wait 15 minutes for my clothes to get out of the dryer. I fell down. I hit my head the day before, and had like a concussion. I had Cash and Joey. Oh, I don't even want to
Mm.
talk about it. It
You
is
know,
so
he didn't come
upsetting to
out for a
me.
long time, like
He
as
was married,
homosexual.
and
Yeah, yeah.
his wife was very private. She never wrote a memoir or
Her
anything
name
like
was
that.
Renata. I remember her name was Renata.
Yeah,
Okay, Tommy,
he's
thank you
always
for.
credited her for staying
Make
so
sure you
quiet
hit that
about his.
thumbs up, Tommy. Tommy Highway.
Gonna hit the bed.
Yeah, his
Don't
36
hit the bed.
point.
Just lay in the bed.
Yeah, his 36 points of restraint around his bed. That's what he says. He has
What does
36
that
points of
mean?
restraint. I guess it means that
36
he's
points of
going to
restraint for
either
what?
get tied up, to get tied up.
36 points of restraint. Oh, is he? Oh, is Tommy into a little BDSM? That's kind of weird, Tommy.
No, no, no. But you know, hey,
I'm just kidding. It's not weird. Hey,
I
to each their own. Hey, you know what? If you like to be whipped and tied up onto your bed, hey,
don't want to
that's.
be whipped.
No, I'm talking about Tommy. If Tommy likes to be tied down
I
to his
know.
bed
All
and
right. Well, then fine.
dominated,
I was kind of
that's
talking
all.
about.
Hey, no harm, no foul. You know that some men like that. Some men like to be cracked with a whip and
Some
have high
women don't
heels dug into their
mind
buttocks.
being tied up. Some women don't
I'm
mind
just
being
kidding.
tied
I'm just kidding. It's
up.
okay.
Well,
Hey,
you
you know
never
what?
been tied up.
There's nothing wrong with people having a little bit of sexual exploration. I think it's very healthy for
Have you
people to
ever been
be.
tied up?
Um, not on purpose.
Oh, Jesus, that doesn't sound good.
Well, I'm trying to think. Hold on, let me think about this, Trace. It's been a while. Let me think. Let me think.
It's been a
Tied
while.
up
You got a
to some.
boyfriend you live with, and you go, it's been a while.
Yeah, isn't that sad? Um, Isn't that the sad truth? Yeah, trust me. Let me think though. Tied up, like tied to something.
Yeah, like
Um,
bedpost.
yeah, hold on. I'm trying to think the last time anything like that happened. I'm sure it's happened one time. Obviously, it wasn't that great because I can't remember it.
Really?
Uh, yeah,
I remember. I remember. Listen,
I
I
remember.
remember, and I'm not ready to go into it in the detail. Like, it
Well,
was
here's the
like,
thing.
yeah.
Here's the thing though. Here's the thing. It's like I think it's very, very healthy for people if they can find somebody they have chemistry with and they connect with and they're sexually, you know, they want to explore different things. I think that is a very healthy way to be and I encourage it. And I think it's something that is very, very good for people. I think it's not weird and I think it's good for people to be comfortable with their sexual drive and their desires and things to do. I'm all for that. I think it's totally great. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's what a lot of couples, especially in America, it seems like in European countries and other places, sex is a little bit more, it's less taboo as it is here. Um, I think Americans really have a massive issue with sex, its own people's own sexuality, and it being something that's natural, and we should promote and support and encourage and not shame, right? Um, and I think it's healthy for couples who are comfortable with one another and who trust one another and who have a certain level of good sexual chemistry with each other to explore different types of intimacy. I think that's like the glue that really bonds together because I think when that's all uh,
When that's
in order.
gone, yeah, that's
I think everything else stems from that and it makes everything else better. Communication, supportiveness, friendship, you know what I mean?
well,
Trust,
yeah. You gotta have the desire to, like even being near who you're with. Like it's
well,
one thing to be able to have a good conversation with the person that you're with, But if you'd prefer to have it over the phone, then that's a
Yeah.
problem, you know?
Well, believe it or not, I understand why a lot of men wind up cheating. And I'm not giving men a hall
Even
pass on
women, though.
cheating,
Women, too, though.
but I have women too. And I understand why this happens. And here's my theory on it. Here's what I believe happens. I believe people become complacent. And I believe that in most of the cases, it's the women who are the ones who lose their interest or stop trying more over the men do it too. But I think what happens within a relationship is people become comfortable, they become complacent, they become uninterested, and they stop trying, right? So I think in order to have a healthy, lasting, good, solid relationship, you have to always make the other person feel wanted. And when the cheating takes place and the adultery takes place, it's typically when the other person has been rejected by their partner so much. And that rejection hurts, right? Rejection is like the worst
Absolutely.
rejection. And so they have that desire. Every human being needs to feel wanted by their partner.
Yes.
They need to feel
You hit
loved.
it right on the head.
And
You
I
did.
feel that women, especially too, women will become, whereas in the early start of the relationship, and of course it's normal to become comfortable and not, do things you did in the beginning. But women really, I feel, start to use sex as a bargaining chip. They turn it into a chore. They lose interest in the intimacy. Maybe that's biologically, maybe there's factors that play into this. Kids, there's all sorts of things, but I think it's so important for women to maintain a level of intimacy and interest in your husband, and men too,
Yeah,
in order to,
this is the thing, though. The woman has the children. So it's easy for a woman to feel like they don't look the same as they do anymore. And if the partner of them doesn't keep telling them that, I find you sexy anyway, or even if they don't, okay? But what
yes,
they'll
yes,
see, what they'll find is that the woman will look at her body, even in her own time, more and be like, okay, well, if he thinks I'm sexy, and not become compliant, but they'll become where they want to be sexy and they want to
it's
see what you see. And you'll
it's
notice
all
that
about
they're,
giving,
yep,
giving. Yep, yep,
yeah,
giving and
and the woman
not
will
becoming.
feel,
Yep,
if you tell your woman, well, you gained a few pounds since you had the baby, then she's not going to take that shirt off during sex.
no,
And she's not even going to want to look at her own self because she's going to see what you see. But if you tell her, no, and you'll notice that she'll see what you see, but it will become that as well because your wife will
if
feel, sexy. And so she'll want to
yes,
be sexy. And you have to make the woman or the man, if they start gaining a few pounds, make them feel not that it's okay, but that,
that they're
they
still
are
attractive to
sexy.
you. Yeah,
Yeah, that they're sexy.
Cash's dad and I had a very good relationship up until the end of the relationship. I say, I when I was pregnant with Cash, I put on Tracy a lot of weight. Both the boys, I put on a ton of weight. Right, with Cash in particular, it was about 98 pounds. Which, when you imagine my size, that's basically I'm almost doubling my body weight.
Yeah, and that's a lot for an 8-pound baby.
I was massive. I had a lot of water retention and preeclampsia. I had a complicated pregnancy with him. And so, but I have to say, even during my pregnancy and after his birth, because when you give birth, you don't birth out 99 pounds of baby, right? You still
Right.
have a lot of that weight on you. He always made me feel beautiful. He always told me how beautiful I was. He always, despite
Yep.
the fact that he was an abusive alcoholic and all other regards of life. But when it came to that, he never put me down. He never made me feel weird. He never made me feel ugly. He was so complimentary. And it was nice. It was nice because, it was just that's
You'll
how
find that it
you
will
feel
make their
ugly.
even face look better, like, because their face will be,
Yeah.
flushed and, never take away from any, whether it's the guy or the girl, each other, never lose that seeing things through rosy colored glasses and the frolicking and the
Well,
feeling
never
like
just
it's
think that they don't need to. I think the problem is people forget that they need to hear these things from one another. They forget that it's important 20
yeah,
years
they
into a
think they know
relationship as it
already.
was.
I wouldn't be
Yeah.
married to you if I didn't think that. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah. There's no
Yeah.
excuse for becoming lazy and making your partner feel good, right? And making them feel protected and safe and desired and wanted and all that things. There's never an excuse for that because people have to have that kind of interaction, right? To feel confident and secure in one another and
I'll
happy.
tell you, I changed when me and my daughter's father split, and he would say things like, you know, I'd say, "Oh, you make me feel so unloved," and he'd say, "You are," or he'd make fun of me, for because I would wear a shirt, and instead of saying take the shirt off or anything, he'd make fun of me like afterwards. Tracy feels so fat. She got, but I wasn't fat. I was probably went up to like a size, 14. Marilyn Monroe was a size 16, right?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
But probably went up to a size 14, but didn't feel sexy at all with him. And he was
Right.
cheating. He was cheating. It wasn't me cheating, it was him. And when we split up, I thought like, my world was going to end because I didn't just decide to be a single parent, that wasn't like
Yeah.
in my plan. Even though I didn't love him, because you don't learn to love somebody. And people would say, "Oh no, you guys are great together. You have all the same friends," because we'd been friends before. But we'd been friends for a long
Okay.
time. But we had a lot of things in common. He was very funny and stuff, but I never looked at him like boyfriend material. But I got to an age, which was 28, where I thought that I would,
When you felt you had to settle down, right? You
yeah,
had to.
yeah,
Yep.
I felt like everybody else was, so
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
thought, well, let's try and
He'll
make this
do.
work. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I remember him saying to me one time, because now looking back, you can analyze. And there's a
Hmm.
song, I think it's by Pearl Jam, but I can't be sure. And they go, "Can't find a better man." You know what song I'm
Yeah.
talking
Yeah.
about? Better Man,
It's a
is that
Pearl
the name
Jam
of it?
song. Yeah. It's Pearl Jam. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
"Can't find a better man." And I
When my mom and dad
remember,
split up, my dad used to play that all the time.
yeah, I remember him
So
saying to
sad.
me, "This is what you think of me." Like as if, like, not like thinking I can't find a better man than him, but as if
You
I,
settled.
yeah, that I settled. And
Maybe
so,
maybe that's energy he picked up on, but
right. So both of us weren't, but we did, even though we weren't collaborative as a parenting, like, we didn't, that was his fault. Like he was the one who didn't talk to me about, okay, well, what's going on with Rachel. But he talked to Rachel, and his parents were the Cleavers. I mean, they were the best grandparents you could ever hope to have. So she got a good upbringing because he did have his
as
time
long
with,
as the child feels loved and they
yeah,
feel secure and they feel their environment stable, and you can even have a very unstable environment but feel stable. Children are they're
resilient.
very adaptable and
Yeah,
resilient. They are, and
yeah,
as long as they feel secure in their parent, even in an unstable situation or a less than, they can still thrive, right? As
yeah. My
long as they
daughter
feel
says that.
supported.
She
Yeah,
says
it's
that.
true.
Yeah, she
You
says
never
that.
go to bed
She
mad.
feels. Yeah, and that's a good thing too, because the
Yep.
other person, if they hold that theory in their head, never go to bed mad, but the other person doesn't mind doing the silent treatment and shit,
Oh God, I hate
and
that.
that's the worst.
Tracy, you know what's so funny? In real life, I'm not very confrontational at all. In fact,
Mm.
I don't like confrontation and I avoid it. And I'm more like a guy in where I will want to discuss something once, settle it, and then I don't like to, rehash things out all the time. And
Mm.
so I don't like to drag things in from the past back into the, okay, well, you did this 6 months ago, or you did that back in 1999, or, you know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
it's funny, I always seem to find myself in, those types of relationships with men who tend to act more female and their behavior in that sense where they because you probably have those girlfriends, I know I do, who they keep, they like build a case against their partner. They like collect all this data, and then
Oh,
they're
I've
like,
not had I've had guys that do that.
oh, you have, isn't that
Yeah,
crazy?
but I've seen
Okay,
both sexes do it actually, both of them.
yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes I wonder why is he with her, and then sometimes I wonder why is she with him. Like, and I don't mind being single, and so I don't mind
Something to
it.
be said about your freedom, right? Your personal,
Yeah, your
just
personal,
being able to do what you want, and yeah.
Yeah, and you know what else I hate is people who have to go to bed when their partner goes to bed. Have you ever dated somebody like that? That'll sit there going,
No,
"Are you coming to bed? Are you coming to bed?" And you're like, "What the fuck?"
no, I could not do that because I'm more of a night owl, and
Me too.
yeah, I couldn't deal with that because if I'm not ready for bed, I won't fall asleep, and I'll toss and turn. I'll stay up even later than I normally do, and it's very uncomfortable for me. Hey Tracy, I'm
Oh,
gonna go running. I'm gonna grab another beer, and then I'm taking the boys to the beach tomorrow. We were supposed to go today, but
okay.
when I checked,
I
right, we were
wanted
right
to
about
ask
to.
you something though. I wanted to
Sure,
ask you. You want to
I'm
grab
not
your
leaving.
beer?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
don't. Yeah,
yeah.
go grab that and then come right back because I want to ask you something. I want you to
Okay,
talk
I'll be
about
right
it
back.
because I think people
Okay,
need to get this out. Yeah. Okay.
okay, I'll be right. Well, I have Bluetooth headphones in, so I guess I'll still be with you until they
Oh, okay.
cut
Can you hear
out.
me then? Because I'll keep talking so I can get.
Yeah, I
Okay.
can.
So this is what I think that people don't understand about you, and I want you to tell your side of the story. Is that I feel like, and I could be wrong, but this is what I gather from our friendship and from when I talk, what I see is that when you went into YouTube, you didn't go into YouTube to be thought of or go through what you go through and gone through. And it's been years, right? That you've been on YouTube for years. Not, I don't know
Uh-huh,
how long, but more than me, let's say. And
uh-huh,
that I feel like there was a point when people started to troll you or give you a hard time,
uh-huh,
and it never ended. Just like in my situation that's been going on for a year now, I
uh-huh.
feel like when people now, if they type in, like you said, you unfortunately use your name. So,
Oh,
but
when they
it
search
doesn't.
me, yeah,
Yeah, and they search you. It doesn't even matter though, because they could search my name in 5 years and see the same shit that they see about you and
yeah,
think, yeah, but do you see the multitude of stuff that's about, this person?
yeah. But it's all from
But
the same people. It's all
it is,
basically from the same group of people.
but also I think they don't know that because it's different names or you,
Yeah,
but
because it's
you
stock
know that,
accounts. Yeah, it's
right?
different stuff.
You
Here's the
know
thing.
that, but
Here's
they
the
don't.
thing. Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. Go on. Sorry, I was interrupting. Go
I
on.
just
So
want you to have the opportunity
to explain why
to,
there's so much bad shit out there about me.
yep, uh-huh,
Well, basically, here's what happens. If you look at it from a if you take all the things that you see out there that are on YouTube about me and you clump them all together into one big pie, right? You look at this pie in its entirety. I understand the logic that it doesn't make reasonable sense that somebody would have so many people who dislike her if
let me
parts
interrupt you 1 second. I want you to know that
yeah
I, as your friend,
yeah
have seen and have taken the time to look at the comments and see you say, so what you're saying is there is no pictures. And the people say, just because there's no pictures doesn't mean it's not true. So
yeah
I,
yeah
as your
well
friend, know that you're going through bullshit, but I want you to explain to people who,
yeah
are,
yeah yeah
yeah,
well
okay.
basically here's what happens is you have a not so large group of people that have started rumors and stories and things like that, but they create these sock accounts and they upload these videos, so it looks like it's a lot more people than it is. Number one. Number two, if you take the multitude of things that are said about me and you look at them into one group, one big lump of shit, right? The majority of these things, if I had done any of these things, I would be sitting in prison right now. Like, I would not be on YouTube. I would be in a jail cell. So there's that aspect to it too that you have to consider. Number three, the majority of these things, you don't ever see any type of actual factual proof or evidence backing them up. It's typically commentary. It's typically commentary that is, an ad hom attack and is from somebody who is obviously trying to hurt me in some way or another. Okay, you have that aspect of it.
Now,
You
let me
have
ask
people.
you, I hate to interject.
Sure.
What do you think would make one person with friends, yes, but usually it's one person who's a leader of it. Like even if it was in real life, okay, in school,
Uh-huh.
usually it's one person who's a leader of it. And even I'm even talking for myself. What do you think would take one person
Hmm.
to hate somebody and
The way
dedicate?
these people hate me, I
And me
don't.
too. Like what
I don't
is
know
it about?
if it's.
It's
I
not
don't know
about
if
like
it's.
you. What do you think would why would somebody
Why do
like
these people hate me so much?
or dedicate so much time?
I think it's a multitude. It's been over the years. It's been a multitude of reasons. I think that part of the reason that the thing that I can conclude is that I think the reason they dislike me so much is simply because of the fact that I put myself out there too much in a real manner. Okay. So I was very transparent with who I was. I didn't hide myself, my face, my name. But the biggest mistake I made, Tracy, the biggest error I made in judgment with these groups was that I trusted people as being my friends who are not to be trusted. And I shared way too much. And there's people out there who will befriend you for the one sheer purpose of gathering information on you and then at a later time exploiting you with it. And I made that mistake over and over again with certain people, in which I was then attacked by simply trusting somebody. And stories were spun and lies were created. I think another big part of the reason I have people who lash out at me so much is a handful of these people were doing things that were very bad to people that I was defending. So, for instance, there's this girl named Jennifer Morrell. She was attacking Lenny Posner really badly about his
Mm-hmm.
son Noah, who died in Sandy Hook, and she was saying some very grotesque and um, derogatory and just cruel things to him about his son. And she was loud about it, and she was cruel, and she was attacking him constantly. And then she got involved with a friend of mine online, and she did horrific things to him in his real life that it would take me way too long to explain. So
Here's
I
the
kind
thing,
of can't.
Tiffany. Do you know that when people hear about your Sandy Hook connection, that the
Mm-hmm,
story they get told is that
mm-hmm.
you said it was a fake and were
Yeah,
trying to
that's
go
because
nasty?
I was in a group of people that were hoaxers for about a month, and
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know. I was not aware of conspiracy theories or false flags or any of this type of thinking. I had never been exposed to anything like that before, and I was just looking for an update on the families because I was curious because that event affected me greatly. I was terrified
Mm-hmm.
to take my kids to school after it. It really, really had a major impact on me.
Right.
Just in general, my general outlook of the world, like somebody who's that horrific to shoot up little 6-year-olds, I couldn't comprehend it. Right. So upon looking for an update on the kids, on the families and how they were doing, I happened across a Facebook group called Sandy Hook Hoax. I didn't know. I honestly, and this is going to sound really dumb, but I didn't really understand what the word hoax meant in regards to a actual event. It just didn't click. And so it was a private group, I asked to join because I was curious. I didn't get it. When I got in there and I saw all these conspiracy theories about it not happening, these kids possibly still being alive, at the time, it was a lot easier for me to process the thought that maybe this wasn't real for whatever reason. I didn't even have the comprehension of why it would not be real. But these ideas were so interesting to me. And so I actually entertained these people for about a month. But the problem was
Yeah,
that I
but
found
you
out
know
very
what?
quick.
I'm not saying that it was a hoax or anything, but I am gonna tell you, not that it was a hoax, but that there was people
let me
out there. Go ahead.
let me
But that new stuff and got killed.
well, here's the thing. No, well, no, but here's my whole breakdown on this and that, and here's what happened, and here's why people say that about me. So I was in this group for about a month, and I was vocal, and the things these people were saying in this group were absolutely mindlessly stupid, and
Oh, they
and
were. Yeah. Okay.
yes, they were irresponsible. They were lying. They were making shit up. It was not a group based on facts and research and evidence. It was a group based on ego fluffing and a circle jerk of people who wanted to feel like they were part of something. They were manufacturing evidence. The whole thing was bullshit. And I started to get pissed. And I started debunking their crap, right? And I formed a um, hatred within this group, and I was booted a lot. And then, you know, Lenny picked up on the fact that I was debunking this stuff, and I was scolding them for using pictures of the kids and stuff. So I joined his group of people who debunked these people, and then it turned into the Honor Network, and I've remained there since, and since becoming. He's a very good friend of mine. Now we've been friends for We've been friends for 7 years now. It's been a long time. But when I joined his group, I you know, we did go after these people that were putting out very irresponsible content about the children who died and who were really pissing on their memory. It was very disgraceful what these people did. They were harassing families. It was horrible. And I knew how horrible it was because I saw it firsthand within a private group. So these people out there have a very tiny pinch of me being involved in this group. It was literally about a month. And they inflate it to be like horrific, you know, oh, I'm such a horrible person. I've done more to defend you know, Lenny and the other families and things like that than most people in existence on this earth. I've done a lot of things behind the scenes to get content down. I've gone after people like Wolfgang Halbig, who made money off the backs of these murdered children and educators. There's been a lot of good that I've done to help the cause and to help get this horrible, false, irresponsible narrative that's out there off the internet, because the bottom line is you can't take anomalies and say that they prove that something did not happen. And the end of the day, okay, human error and misconceptions and intentionally created content don't equal a false flag. And unfortunately, the majority of these conspiracy theory groups do not take the time to do proper research, and they do not do what could be deemed as being anything that is credible enough to tell a parent that their child didn't exist, never died, or was an actor, right? A actor in an event. A lot of the things that people have determined to be, you know, smoking guns. In fact, here's a good example. I had a good friend named Jeff Dryden, who was he was a poetic troll of sorts, right? This guy was prolific, but the problem with him is he trolled one of the people who debunked the Sandy Hook stuff. I don't know why he did that, like he did, but at the time we thought it was funny, but I didn't realize he was harassing this man's family on the low, and it got ugly. But this guy used to troll the Sandy Hook conspiracy theorists, and what he would do is he was so good at what he did, he could spoof servers and IP addresses and things like this. And he went onto this website one day called Godlike Productions, and he mirrored a IP address from I shouldn't probably be saying this in publicly, but he mirrored a server from an IP address in Virginia that would be connected to like the CIA. And he made a post on Godlike Productions that he made it look like it was an error, and he made it look like he accidentally posted a memo from a boss or superior who was giving him instruction to basically infiltrate this Sandy Hook hoax thread and to collect data.
Let me interrupt. Okay, I gotta interrupt this. Okay.
Okay.
Because you know.
There's a good point to this. I'm almost done. There's a good point to this. So let me finish really fast. So he made this post and he deleted it really quickly, knowing that these people on this thread were going to capture this and they were going to turn it into something. And here's my point when saying that these people don't have any credibility or any of the necessary tools in order to be somebody who responsibly and intelligently breaks down an event into a tangible and logical form to determine, okay, this was a hoax or it wasn't a hoax. So here's what happened. He makes this post, he deletes it right away. He does all of his due diligence and linking the server of the CIA and all this shit, right? These people screen capped and they thought they had their smoking gun, right? You should have seen the shit that happened. The website was shut down for a day by the government because of the IP, since it really did appear to come from they didn't know what was going on. The whole website was shut down for a day. It was him and I were laughing so hard, right? But these hoaxers thought they had their smoking gun. They thought this is it. Now, the memo he posted that was a pretend memo didn't say much. It just said collect the information on the people trying to, who are saying this shit, right? It said nothing more than that. It didn't say anything about it being false, nothing.
I know, but just let me tell you, because, okay, this is from Forbes, okay? This is from Forbes. This was April 16th, 2021. And this is just to tell you that everything is not put out there. Because this says, this is Forbes, right? The U.S. has averaged more than one mass shooting a day this year. Now, this was in April of this year. Shooting a day this year, continuing an upward trend since researchers began thoroughly tracking the subject following the shooting at Sandy Hook Elementary. There have been 147 mass shootings this year. Now, keep in mind, they say researchers, okay? Now, there's an important reason. There have been 147 mass shootings this year, according to the Gun Violence Archive, which defines a mass shooting as when 4 or more people have been shot or killed, not including the shooter. The U.S. was racked by a record high of 610 mass shootings in 2020. That's more than 2 a day. The most of any year since, I'm sorry, that's less than 2 a day, but still more than one. The most of any year since the organization began tracking the number in 2014. This year, the U.S. is on pace to have 511 mass shootings, more than any year between 2014 and 2019, though mass shootings are historically more likely to occur during the latter half of the year, meaning the rate could increase. In 2009, okay, so they go on. Okay, nearly 20,000 Americans died from gun violence in 2020, more than any year in 2 decades, and what was the highest one year. Now, let me go right here. Okay. On Thursday night, 8
I'm
people.
a loud drinker.
It's okay. This was April, mind you, so it wasn't this past Thursday. It says on Thursday night, and remind this is Forbes. So it's not some, so whatever, like a Huffington, it's nothing like that. On Thursday night, 8 people were killed by a gunman at FedEx facility near Indianapolis International Airport. It was the 5th high-profile mass shooting this year, following shooting sprees in Atlanta, Boulder, Colorado, Orange, California, and Rock Hill, South Carolina. No universally, this is the key background, it says, no universally accepted definition for mass shootings currently exists, and the FBI doesn't track them. It does track mass murders, which it defines as a situation where 4 or more were killed by gun violence, a bombing, or other means. The Gun Violence Archive, like many databases, did not start tracking mass shootings until the increase in high-profile shootings following Sandy Hook. However, other databases, which define mass shootings more narrowly, show that the rate has increased in recent years. On Friday, President Joe Biden reignited pressure on Congress to pass gun reform. Gun violence is an epidemic in America, but we should not accept it. We must act. Biden said in a statement Friday, God bless the 8 fellow Americans we lost in Indianapolis and their loved ones, and we pray for the wounded for their recovery. Last month, the House passed legislation to expand background checks, but the bill faces an uphill battle in the Senate, where it will likely need 60 votes to pass. Last week, Biden unveiled a series of executive orders aimed at curbing gun violence, including restrictions on so-called...
Can I pause you right there?
Yep.
The biggest non-factual but circumstantial piece of evidence that I can throw out at anybody to prove that Sandy Hook was not a false event, that it was not a hoax, it was
Not
not
false. I don't. I mean, if you
but
might be
listen,
talking about
listen,
maybe where you were was they were saying it was false.
but
I'm not saying
listen.
that, but I think there was more to it.
What you need to look for in events in order to start the conclusion that they might have been something that was organized by a government body or some type of other nefarious or intentional purpose is what has changed in the world since this event took place. Since Sandy Hook, which happened, shit, how many years has it been now? 9 years? No, 2012. 9 years ago. Okay. Or wait, how many years ago? Yeah, 9 years ago almost. It's been 8 years since Sandy Hook happened. And they still can't even get background checks to pass.
Right.
Think about that. Now
Isn't
look
that
at
awful?
9/11. Look at 9/11. You had the Patriot Act. You had the NSA was formed. You've had a lot
That was
of
Republicans,
changes in
and
our
I'm not
world that
blaming any
happened.
group, but let's hope that Biden,
but there's a lot of changes that happened in the world after 9/11. Now you could also say in that regard that, well, look at what happened. It was a massive security breach and a massive loss of life, right? Because of failure in our own system. Okay. However, you still had our world after 9/11 has completely changed. But an event like Sandy Hook, where you can't even have these parents who are lobbying get background checks passed. I mean, look at nobody's guns have been taken from them. Now, the other question that I pose to people is this: do you still feel safe, completely safe, when you go into a mass public gathering like the mall or like the movie theaters as you did prior to all this crazy shit happening? I know I sure as hell don't. In fact, I avoid massive crowds these days because I'm terrified of these psychopaths out there. Now, is that because of the government plopping down, these patsies into crowds and having them kill
you know
people?
what? You can't hear me anymore, can you?
I can hear you now. Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh, because I was looking that up, so I have to go out and come back in. So go ahead, keep talking.
So I think that the problem that we face is that, number one, they're never going to be able to take our guns. Oh, where'd you go? They're not, I don't think that they can't take our guns. It's just not, it's not going to happen. I don't see any problem with having background checks to own a firearm. I think there should be background checks to own a firearm. The biggest issue that you have here is the fact that a bad guy is going to be able to get a gun. Criminals are going to be able to have weapons. This isn't going to completely solve the problem. It might slow the availability to certain people. Like, for instance, the Las Vegas shooting, Tracy. One of Jeff's good friends was in. Oh, I can hear you now. Yeah, I could hear you before too. One of
You were
Jeff's
just
good
talking
friends.
over me. No, sir, just kidding.
No, I didn't. You didn't say anything, and then I could hear you. But
We were so funny. That was like we were heated, like one of those debate channels. That was funny to me. And you were probably like, "Oh, good, you got to leave and come back."
No, I couldn't hear you until you.
I'm
I couldn't
kidding.
hear you until you said it. That's why my chicken looks mad. Check this out, though.
That's why
Here's
the
something
chicken
kind
looks
of.
mad. I said that's why the chicken looks mad.
My chicken looks. That's why my chicken looks mad, because this is a heated debate.
Oh my God, you're so
And the
funny.
angry
And
chicken.
mine has
Check
to
this.
look, and I'm all happy and smiling, and I am right now too. I
I'm the
have a
angry
big old
chicken.
smile on my face.
Check this shit out, though. One of Jeff's really good friends was in the Las Vegas shooting. He was freaking shot, man. He was hit by shot. I called you man. He was like, shot, man. I sound like Debbie.
Oh my God.
That guy was
But
like,
no,
hit by
Debbie's
shot.
video when
No.
she's at Walmart and that guy starts yelling, that's
Oh,
scary.
that was scary. That's my
That is
point.
scary.
That's freaking terrifying, dude.
That's scary. Like
Yes.
that guy could have been just whipped out. He could have just walked in and just started. She didn't know
That
what
is
that
our normal. That should not be normal. That's why I kind of like, that's why I'm kind of not against gun reform anymore, even though I grew up with I made bullets with my dad.
Why
in
would
the
you
garage.
be against gun reform?
I'm
Let
not.
me tell you what they do in I forget what city it is. It's like Indiana or something like that, okay? Or not, I know that's a state. But it was
Tracy,
somewhere.
crazy motherfuckers are always going to be able to get a weapon.
Let me just finish. You keep talking. Let me say something.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll shut up.
They do this. Good. For just a second. I'll get it out fast. They do this. They don't do they'll just
Did
do
you
their
just
name,
whine?
right? No,
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
listen.
sorry.
Take a name, right? Because each state has its own rules about gun, like being able to buy a gun. So what they do purposely, I believe this is Ohio. What they do purposely is if somebody is a felon even or something, and isn't allowed to have a gun or on probation, I should say, on probation, and so they don't do the gun thing right there. They tell them it's going to take 3 days, but they sell them the gun anyway. Then after the time that they go through the check, then they're breaking their probation by buying it.
Ah,
And then they come and they show up and they arrest them. And, so the gun store guy got his money. And then the guy ends up back in. If they wanted to not frame them, but just punish someone, I feel like, there's a lot of cases where I was talking to somebody the other day. She said she lives in a town where, she was looking at the news, like the local news, and it was just a quick thing about them finding a girl found burnt to death in her own car, but in a nice, nice area. And that was all it said. It was just done, you know?
mm,
And it,
yeah.
it's concerning that I see what your frustration is, and you could talk all day about that channel and the hoax thing and this and that.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah,
what
yeah.
I'm
I'm very
saying is,
passionate about it
no,
because
but that's
Tracy, I've
why,
seen
yeah,
things that other people haven't seen
I know, but
that
you're
unequivocally
saying that there's,
prove this
yeah, but
child.
there's a lot of witnesses sometimes in something that disappear,
Well,
and
here's my caveat to that though. Jeff's friend was shot in Vegas. He wasn't shot, but he was hit by shrapnel at that concert in Vegas. He was there, him and his wife. He saved a man's life. They're actually
a
waiting for
woman
their
said that
settlement.
there was two shooters. And do you know how many of
You
those
know what
Las
he
Vegas
said?
people?
You know what
What?
he said? He said they were shooting from the helicopters and
Yeah,
he was shot.
he said there was more than one
Yeah,
shoot,
yeah,
and
yeah.
they and there are there were so many of those people who were like, even the girl whose boots they showed that had blood on them, but she was alive. She's dead now. She was alive.
Well, that's why this
And
guy's not coming out and saying anything because he's
there's
waiting.
so
Him and his
many
wife
that
are
are
waiting on
dead.
settlements. Well, they were
They're
both hit
dead.
by shrapnel and they were both injured pretty badly. And then he wound up saving some guy's
Where
life. Now,
one was a cop who was, and he said, "They're chasing me. They're chasing me." And like, I'm saying these people, the media, and I'm sorry, I know I'm gonna just hide this fucking video after, but I'm just saying they control so much more than I realize. That's why I don't watch the news anymore.
yeah.
When
Well, I
I
mean, look at
saw
things
and
do
witnessed,
happen in this regard. These types of things do. I'm not
no, but
saying that.
realized that there was like, let me think of like some of the names. There was like Barbara Walters when I was growing up. You loved her, Barbara Walters.
Barbara
Okay,
Wawa, Wally, where have all the
where is
woodland
she
creatures
now?
won to?
But where
Barbara
is she
Walters,
now?
she's probably dead.
No, but see, but she might not be. But
She's old as
Walter
dirt, though.
Cronkite, Walter Cronkite.
He died.
Yeah, he's dead now. But I mean, legit credible. Like that 10 years, and I'm not kidding you. I've said it for many, many years now. You can ask my daughter. I have always said it's always amazed me how 10 years was all it took to take away traditions. And what was something you said earlier, about, like, TV memories, or something, memorabilia. Like, there's nothing they would sell at a fair
Oh,
now.
nostalgia. Yeah.
Yeah, nostalgia. That's what you said. Nostalgia. It only took, as a person who lived it, and if you think about it yourself, this is something I could tell you, right? About being brainwashed. I used to think it couldn't happen, being brainwashed, until 2 days ago when I realized I had been brainwashed. And I'm not talking about the news or the media or nothing. I'm talking about right here on my channel, in my YouTube, lifetime.
In your
Okay.
personal world, people have been
Yep. In my
brainwashed about
personal.
you and
No,
me.
no, no, no. I was brainwashed, and I'm gonna just say, you know what it was about? I'm gonna just say their name,
Hmm. Go
Rachel
ahead.
Reed. Rachel Reed, and I didn't realize
Hmm.
that her, because I've been talking to Rachel on the phone, and you know how me and Rachel argue on the internet? We don't
Hmm.
argue like that in real life when we talk
Hmm.
on the phone. We don't
Hmm.
argue like that. We talk and talk for hours, and it's nothing at all like what I thought it was. But I didn't
Hmm.
realize, so I think it might have been even last night or the night before, till I thought about what happened. And it was, this is what happened. When Rachel Reed would start talking or typing in my room, or it's happened to her in other rooms, and it's happened to me in rooms where you start talking, you go, hey, and everybody stops talking.
Hmm. Yeah, it happens to me a lot.
Yep, it's a boycott. But what they don't realize, the channel owner is thinking it's the person ruining their room.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Yep.
And yep, is thinking
Yep.
it's that person ruining their room.
Look
And
at
I
social
literally had,
engineering on
yep,
here is very easy. It's very easy to turn a crowd, right? Look at your situation, right? Look at what happened with you and the misconceptions and the confirmation bias that took place with you, and people just believed shit without even vetting it or having using any type of
yeah. But what my
discernment or anything.
amazement
People just
is, yeah, but that is almost like a free will, right? That's a free will. But when they're
mhm,
doing that and they're somebody who is, you don't realize you're going along with it, right? That's why
mhm,
like, we could point out the ones who do it
groupthink.
all the time, but you don't
Mhm.
need, there's like, I literally was thinking Rachel ruined my channel.
Well, but
Not
you
really,
thought
really
more people
ruined
than
it like
Rachel,
that,
but you
but was
thought more people
ruining
than
it.
Rachel did, though. I mean, you thought it was a handful of different people,
No,
and
no, I'm
I think,
sorry, but I went to fix myself there. Not
oh,
ruined my channel, but was ruining my channel.
but I
Like,
think you thought
they
that about a
used
handful
her.
of people, though, and I think some of those
No,
people.
they used her like most. It was her the night when Vlad said, seriously, I'm out. When he saw I had unblocked her. The reason why I unblocked her was because it was already happening, so that they were not coming, even though Rachel
Mhm.
was blocked. But at this point, they had already done their thing. Got gone. I saw the old the new comments on old videos stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like I wasn't supposed to.
Well, I mean, I'll say this: the only way you can avoid being influenced by people who are intentionally trying to turn a crowd against somebody is just to stick to your own principles and your experience with that
That's what I
person.
did.
And
Yeah,
and I personally, in particular, Rachel and I don't really get along, but I'm not going to be, I have no reason to be rude to her. And like I've told you in the past, if she gets along with you and you get along with her, you're my friend. My loyalty is with you. And I will always be polite and kind to her. And maybe her and I have just never had enough interaction for me to get a good judge of her character. And maybe I read into things, and I don't like to judge people based on a few
and my point
interactions and
being is
situations. Yeah.
maybe right, and my point being is maybe sometimes none of us realize that we're being a little brainwashed.
Hmm. Well,
Like her
look
too,
at,
and you
yeah.
too, her, me, you, everyone. Just being, if we stop and self reflect, like,
Hmm.
just stop and think, is this how I would treat somebody in real life? Like, does
Hmm.
the rules not apply of being courteous to another human being and just being polite,
Well, that's kind
even
of my
though they,
problem I have with hers, because I feel like she doesn't she's very rude sometimes. But
no,
maybe
she's not. if you
But
think
maybe
about
that's
it,
just her personality.
no, what
And I
it
can't,
is because when they all leave and point it out all the time, it becomes something we inadvertently believe. Because if everyone says it, then in our mind, without realizing it, it becomes like, you know, like if you were watching a movie that was going to make you
well,
feel sick. It's like
my
creating a
reasoning for
bad
thinking that
habit.
about her was more because of her actions and things she said, not
And
necessarily
I
because
believe
people
that because
left.
she
Yeah.
felt the same way about you because she saw a group of videos, right? And I
See,
explained to her,
and she
right,
judged, and that's what
she but
happens.
right, and she didn't, and she, but when I needed to, when I told her the story about when you said same, no
Hmm.
hesitation, no nothing, and I heard that voice next to me, and I'm telling you, I pictured you and me like warriors, and we still couldn't, we didn't slay the dragon. You know what I mean? There
Right.
was no dragon, but it was, you know, we didn't expect it to make the impact that we thought it would. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it doesn't make me feel bad. It makes me
Well,
and you
you
stronger
have,
to me.
there's a lot of hurt people on YouTube. There's a lot of hurt people on social media who are experiencing some level of personal pain in their life, and they use it as an escape room. And they're not kind, and they don't practice the basic, rule of life of do unto others as you'd want to do unto you, them to do unto you. Right? It's we don't give common courtesy to one another here, and there's a lot of assumptions, and there's a lot of
You
of
know what they
of
say? They use that slogan, hurt people, hurt people.
right and
Yeah.
right.
And I don't like
And I
that
mean,
one.
well, the thing is that all it takes, I think, to sway this type of behavior with people, and I'm guilty of it too. I can't sit here and say that I'm not, I'm not above anybody, and I definitely
I've
have
done it
taken,
too, but I grow every day. I grow
well,
every
I've
day.
definitely taken my swings at people, but
Yeah,
the
but
thing
I
is,
feel like no matter what, you're not the Tiffany that people, a
no, I know I'm
multitude
not.
of
People like to hate
people,
me because I don't know why
it's
they like to hate me.
you don't back down. It's because you don't back down. That's what it
Well,
is. 'Cause you stand by
and,
your
and
convictions and aren't afraid. And most people are afraid. I think it's fear that stops people.
well,
It's
I'm not
fear.
going to go join a group of people who I have called a friend for a year, for instance, like Izzy and Prudently and stuff. I'm not going to go jump on their bandwagon and say it's okay what they're doing to you because I was friends with these people. What they're doing is wrong, and wrong is wrong, friend or not. And if they can't be friendly towards me because I disagree with the way they're treating my other friend,
No, they'd be
then
friendly
they
to
can fuck
you.
right on
They'd take
off.
you right in. If you went over there, they'd take you right in. They
I
wouldn't.
would
They'd
never,
be
I would
friendly to
never,
you.
I would never do it. I'm not going to do it. And I never
Mhm.
would do it because what they're doing is bullshit and it's wrong.
It would be that would surprise me if you went there. It wouldn't be them
Yeah,
welcoming you. It
wouldn't
would
happen.
be if you went there. That is what would hurt. That would be a
I would
bad.
never do that though. I would never do
I'd
that
never do
because
that to you
look
either.
at Tracy. I've been wrong in my treatment of you in the past, and I carry that with me every
Yeah,
day,
but
and I
that
feel
does.
horrible,
I don't
ashamed
want that
about
to
it.
carry. I want you to carry our friendship, like
Oh,
hold
I
you
do,
high,
but
not
that weighs on
not
me
beside
greatly.
you.
Yeah, but that weighs on me quite a lot. And and the thing is I'm accountable for it. I don't shy away from the fact that I
We
did
stuck
bad
to that.
things.
We stuck to
And it,
that.
and nobody does that shit. Nobody can just
No,
the problem
they
is
won't.
nobody can sit back and say, "Fuck, man, I messed up. I was wrong. I should not have treated you so
No,
shitty. You didn't deserve it." They can't do that shit, and I don't get it. And they can't let things go. It's like Prudently,
it's them
Izzy,
that can't let go.
Vlad.
They think that when we talk about it, it means we can't let it go, but it's not. It's that
No, no,
we.
no, no, no. And I brought this up right now, and you can all blame me for it and come at me if you have an issue with it. But you women need to let this shit go. Okay? It's gotten
Yeah,
out
because
of,
everybody could be kind. Even
there's
if it's
no point
happening,
in it. There's
it
no
doesn't
point in it.
matter that fucking that people maybe things won't be the same, but maybe they could be. Maybe they could be
Look at,
better. Look at
I
me,
would rather
Tiffany.
have you as my friend
Yeah,
and be loyal to you and you be my friend than have the whole group of them times 10 be my friend. Because here's the
exactly.
bottom line. Here's the bottom
Yeah,
line. after what they have done, I don't feel that they are the people who I thought they were, which were good people. And I don't want people like that in my world.
They did me a
And I
favor,
don't
you
feel any
know.
loss from it. Yeah, I don't feel
Nope,
any
they
loss
did
from it
me
at
a
all. I'm
favor.
not sad.
They did me a
No, I
favor
haven't
because
shed a
I had
tear.
a rogue mod and I didn't know like who it was, and I couldn't like I didn't want to hurt people's feelings. So what they did was, as a group leaving, then I knew they were all the rogue mods.
Right, right.
So I was
Would you
able
rather
to
have
take care of it.
would you rather
Yeah,
have five good people in your chat who are here to have good
exactly.
conversation, or would you rather
And
have
people
30
will play
people?
it back. People will play it back and listen, you know, so it's not wasted energy even us talking because, you know,
Tracy,
the
I
numbers
basically
like the
talked to
math.
you and one other person from YouTube now, and that's it. I've
I
schlepped
hope I
off.
talk to you for the rest of my life.
We, of course we will. Of course we will.
Yeah.
That's our friendship. But what I'm saying is that I have schlepped off a massive amount of people, right? And I'm perfectly okay with it. I'm not upset. I'm not sad. I don't miss anyone. It's fine.
Yeah.
You know why? You know why? Because these people were just not good. Okay,
No,
and they're no, and it's okay.
it's
Relationships
okay.
and
That's
friendships
fine.
end. Yeah,
Yeah.
people
Some
part
of
ways.
them were, but you know, like I'm gonna say XX. I like XX, and I've seen XX, and even in that other live stream, she does have my back,
She does. I've
and
seen her too.
she
I've seen
does,
her
and I
too.
can
She's in.
understand her compromised convictions, and I can understand the spot she might be in because you know maybe at one
She's in
time
a
you have
weird position because she's still
yeah,
friends with all these people, right? She's in a very
right.
precarious
She's
position
in
because
a
she is still
yeah,
friendly with them.
but
Yeah,
she still does
I
maintain
see
a
her.
friendship with me.
I see her.
Yeah,
I see her do it too
yeah,
when I'm around. I haven't been around
yeah,
for a while, but I've seen her in the past, and she defends you very.
yeah. And she
Yep.
maintains a friendship. She'll like she likes my storybook videos, which those ones I like too, and I but I feel funny doing them. So as long as I even have just one person, and she's not one, and so I noticed that she, you know, and I miss a dare because he used to like the storybook, but I do like them, and I'll look at the
Look
book,
at one
you know.
genuine friend is worth way more than 100
Wicked.
acquaintances who would
Yeah, I
sail
mean,
you down the river for nothing.
it is.
Right?
It is.
It
And
is.
you know, and I don't. I know it sounds crazy, and I know people say, "Oh, don't look." It's hard not to look at, you know, to see if comments like,
Of
you know,
course.
it is hard. But if I see somebody in Aussie ministry goes out there, and she does do like, you know, she's
She's
you
another
know,
good one. She's
she
another good
is.
one, man. That girl's
She
had
is.
your back forever. She has always
One
been.
time we had a slip, but that was, you know, it was just a slip. We get back up. That's, you know, that's all it is, you know. It was a slip. We all have slips, whatever. You know, though it's
Tracy,
nothing to me.
there's still some good people on here, and I understand what you've been through, and it's incredibly
I think
unfair,
we
and you
both
didn't.
been through it. That's how I liken us to the same.
Hmm.
Like
But you
you
know
were
what?
a lot like me. Like you were
Yeah,
just responding with humor, and
yeah.
I think I'm funny. Like I'm like when I laugh at myself. Like so when I talk for Roscoe, I
Yeah.
laugh at myself.
Those
When
videos with
you had
Teddy and
sent,
Roscoe are so funny.
I think it was 2 mornings in a row, we cracked each other up. Like
Uh-huh.
the first one was you go, you had sent it to me the night before or whatever, and I slept and then looked at it and it said um, something like apparently they think something's wrong with something like that, and I go, what's wrong with you? And then there's something, and I sent you that picture, but it was your freaking nasal inhaler.
Oh yeah, my biggest baby. Oh my god, that was so funny. That was so funny.
In my eyes, it was not a nasal inhaler, and your fingernail was exactly like you know, like a, in comparison to something that I heard about. You know, those little they ridges, those little things that will
Oh
come out
my
with a
god,
tickler.
that was
So
so
I
funny.
flipped through it and I see it the whole like week as I'm flipping through stuff, right? And
There's my fixed vapor inhaler. Those things are great,
I
though.
see it. I go, what the hell is she sending me? But I wouldn't say nothing about it, right? And then when you said something about apparently there's something wrong with me, I don't know what it is. And I go, what's wrong with you? And send that picture to you. And in the morning,
Oh
I
God,
think
that
that
was
was the
so
first one.
funny.
And I had tears rolling down my face when you said, it's my nose inhaler. That's my fingernail. I fucking died. And when
Oh
you
my
sent that,
God.
the next morning I opened up my mail and it was the video with the Teddy writing the chosen one, which was hysterical.
Dear
That is-
Tom, this is Teddy. My mom
Oh my
doesn't give me
god.
night allowance anymore.
Oh my god, when you go you go, and this is no offense against that little Bob. I know you were just listening like the pop, not not all of them are
I do
popular.
all these things on first take, and I don't think them through very much beforehand. So whatever comes to my mind comes out of my mouth, right? You know what I mean? So there wasn't a
Yeah,
blind
and none
spot
of it
taken.
is meant in poor like taste or
Nah,
nothing. But you
nah.
go dabbling with bubbles. That's a good one. That's a good one. That's a good one. That is so funny because that is just kind of a compliment, actually. You
That's what
know?
I meant. That's what I meant it as a
Yeah, it
compliment.
is.
Yeah.
It's a compliment. So when
The
you
the
said
the
that,
jersey with junkie drunk. That was not a
oh,
compliment. That was
oh
directed
my
at
God, my
That was directed at
neighbor,
you directly, Jules, and I hope that you're going on sabbatical for a while now because your last
my
life
downstairs
was a shit
neighbor,
show.
I showed it to her when she saw when she heard, that's a good one, she laughed. But when she saw the next one, and with the misspelling too of Jersey, and then
Oh, I
I go,
misspelled it. Oh, are you and Jules cool now?
no. What do
Oh,
you mean are
okay,
we
okay, okay.
cool? I don't even know
Oh,
what she
okay.
is. She disappeared. I'm thinking she's 10 sock accounts at least.
Well, no, I think she had that live stream where she was about 5 minutes from being face down on somebody's front lawn.
Oh, that was that last
Oh my
one,
God.
wasn't it? That was her last
Yeah,
one.
she
I
hasn't been,
forgot
yeah, she
about
hasn't been back
that.
since. Joe's probably got her fight. She's sitting in the naughty corner now for two
In the she
weeks.
shed. In the she shed.
He's
She
got her locked
passes
out.
her food through a little slit.
She's in
She's in
solitary in the
there
she
just
shed.
every day she gets a delivery of fucking donations. She's just in there sorting clothes. He took the
She's
computer out. There's no computer. None.
She's in solitary in the she shed.
Because he does respond, He'll respond to the not that I look, I'm just saying. He'll respond if somebody puts in a comment, I hope you two are okay. And then the guy from Jersey, which is Joe, mind you, will respond saying, we're fine, we're fine, we're fine.
Oh
Don't
God,
worry
Jules, you
about
blew
it.
it, girl.
Yeah,
She blew it. She
you
blew
know
it. Karma,
what?
man. I'm sorry, but
Unless,
Jules,
unless
this is
this
why
is what they
benzos,
want.
booze, and live streaming don't mix, Jules. Just
I
saying.
never saw it. I never saw it. I never saw that. You know what?
It was a shit
I was
show.
certain that you would watch it because fucking you're the one who told me about it.
I
And I
didn't, but
looked
somebody
and I
told me
said,
about it, and it was bad.
huh?
Somebody, I didn't watch it. I don't ever watch her because she's
Yeah.
like
And then
watching.
you
I'd
like
rather watch.
forwarded to me and fucking
Yeah.
it hadn't started yet, but she was in the chat room. Miss
Somebody
Passion, wasn't
emailed
she?
me about it, and it was bad. They gave me a whole lowdown, and it was
Well, somebody was
she was
in here before and said it. Remember?
yeah she was a mess, dude. She it
You
was
saw it?
apparently really bad, but that's what
Did you
happens when
see
you're
it?
fucked up all the time and you live
No, but did
stream.
somebody like rip it and send it to you?
No, 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 no. If they did, I would have given it to you. No, they just gave me
Uh, not that
the
I would
cliff
look.
notes of it.
Not that I would look.
Oh, are you kidding me? I would not only would I look, I would re-upload it. I would
No,
give
sir, you
commentary.
would not.
I would put her
You
picture
would?
all over it with her name.
You know what? That would be funny. You know what? That
Look at
would be the justice I think I deserve. Why didn't we do that?
I
We
don't
weren't
know, but look at
expecting
that
it.
woman gets no mercy from me. She gets no respect and she gets no decency or common courtesy or anything
That
that
was
is.
our fucking golden
I
moment,
know,
and we
man.
missed it by trying to stay off YouTube.
I know, son of a bitch.
Yep, we were
Hey,
trying to
girl,
do the right thing,
I'm
and we
trying to be a
did.
healthier person.
At the end of the day,
Yeah.
we will have done the right thing. like it was divine intervention that nobody ripped that, because it will
Right,
be
because I
like,
would have been the biggest shitbag on the face of the earth
and
if
I
I
would have
could
gone
get my
along
hands
with
on that. If I could
it.
get
I
my
would have
hands
gone
on
along
that
with it.
stream, oh
I'd have
God,
been like,
that's,
I don't know how I
listen,
feel about this.
I will pay somebody $100 for that stream. Just email it to me, and I will PayPal you $100 if you recorded Jersey with Jules' last stream.
No way.
Yes, I will. I'll do it
Oh yeah, record it with audio.
with audio.
Yeah, with audio.
$100 on
But
my word. Email it to tiffany.moser at
entertainment purposes
gmail.com.
only.
I'm not even kidding. I will. I'll pay somebody for that. I
What
will
was the
pay you for
email?
that. It's my first one. It's tiffany.moser at gmail.com. I'm like Tom now, putting out fucking bounties for information.
I know, I
$100.
felt like that
Anybody who
too.
recorded Jersey with Jules' live
Yeah, but it's
stream.
because she loves her so much. She's her biggest fan.
I just
It's
want it
really,
for record. I
yeah,
won't be
because
doing
it's
anything
like
bad.
when you collect Hallmark Christmas
Yeah.
decorations, and
Yeah.
if
I
you
like
want to have,
collecting live streams of drunk people.
yeah, no, not drunk people, nice people. She's just looking for nice, kind people in their live streams, and she's missing that.
I'm trying to start a community outreach, and I need some
Advice,
yes,
advice, sound advice. And we
I
heard
need
there
to
was
have a
quite a
foundation.
few. How long did it go on for? I'd like to
I
know.
have no clue. I have
I
no clue.
know.
Jules, just make it public, girl. Come on. Break out of the shed, grab your
But
laptop, and make it
you know
public
what
for
they
like
try
an
to make
hour.
me get public? It's like one of my
Here's my
major.
challenge, Jules. Here's my challenge, Jules. I will donate $100 to your good cause if you can prove to me that you were not shit faced in that live stream. But you have to make the live stream public, and you have to explain your behavior in the live stream. And if you
Everything,
can
guys. You
convince
can't
me,
edit it. You
you
can't
may
edit it.
not
It's
edit or delete
done.
comments, right? But if you can convince me that you were sober, I will give you $100.
I don't know. She said. I'm not sure. She said. I
Just make it
mean,
public, Jules. Come
I
on.
don't even know what happened. She was slurring her words. Was she tired? Because she looked like she could
It was
type. She
she
looked
was
like she
having
could
trouble
type.
typing and talking and
No,
doing
she was typing very well before the live stream started. In her,
basic cognitive abilities were on the decline. I
unless
don't
Joe
even.
like
I've
maybe,
seen her like that before, though. I don't know why this one was such a big deal because I've seen her like one time she was trying to show her chickens or ducks or whatever they were, and she couldn't figure out the goddamn camera, and it was like the peripheral just obviously was not plugged in because it was black.
you know what? I have a tendency though to think that somebody who lies a lot doesn't get too wasted, because when you get wasted, you want to tell the truth about stuff. You start feeling emotional. You're, telling the truth.
Oh,
That's
girl,
like one of
no,
the most
no,
honest
listen,
people.
listen. Somebody like her who's trying to hide active alcoholism is not going to be truthful, sober or not. Trust me.
No, no, no. I know
My
she's
mom's
never
an
going to be
alcoholic.
truthful. I'm saying she lies a lot.
Oh, yeah.
So what she would do if she got drunk, then she would lose control. But malicious liars,
Yeah, but
mal-
she's got
you
her protector there, Joe, to fucking buffer her booziness. So when she gets out of control like that, Joe comes in and saves the day.
know
It
what
was
always surprises me is
it
that
was a
nobody has a
clown.
problem that she can call on this fucking guy bouncer to harass a woman for her.
That's because they have, in my opinion, and I don't mean to gossip. Don't quote me on this. My opinion, they have a very bizarre dom sub relationship where he like have you ever noticed she used to have to set alarms for herself to
Yeah,
yeah, that's
yeah.
not normal. Like no
Rubber,
motherfucker gonna be setting
rubber
alarms
dub
for me.
dub. Jules needs to get in the tub.
Like legit. Like legit, there's some weird things
Clean
going
your
on in that
coochie. You
household.
know, hoochie. Clean your coochie.
Look, and I don't feel one bit ashamed or bad or, you know, disgraceful for dragging this bitch because she deserves every freaking second of it. Jules, I stand by my convictions about you. You're a rotten human being and take it on the chin, be a big
You
girl
know who
about
I
it.
miss when we're
You
doing
lush.
this, and I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. When we're doing stuff like this,
Mhm.
Bobble.
I know she has good commentary. I like Bobbles.
I like Bobble. And I
I
miss
think
her
people
right
are funny.
now because she'd be
But
funny
what
up
are you
here
guys
with
not? Are you
us.
guys not talking? What's going on? Or who are you not talking to these days? What's going on?
You're not talking to And that's funny because Bravo's fucking thumbnail the other day was, "Who can I make hate me now? Who can I make hate me now?"
That's not a reflection of you. It's a reflection of,
I
you
know
know,
it
just
is. I know it is. But I was
yeah.
just like thinking to myself, "Who are you
But
not talking?" It sounds
but
like the
legit though, who are
same.
you? Who's good and who's not? I need to update my list though.
Everybody's the same. Like I've always been talking to Bobbles, but we like
Oh,
had a
okay.
falling out. But I'm not
Oh,
talking
you
to
did.
Ollie. But I would
Well,
talk to
that I mean,
anybody.
you're not talking to all like that. I mean, come on now. That's
I'm like, I talk to anybody. It doesn't even matter really.
like
But
Ollie
Debbie's
tries.
blocked.
Like Ollie tries to
Debbie's
play
blocked.
nice. Ollie tries to play nice. She tries real hard, but she always falters back to her Ollie-ness.
Ollie. Now that I think about it, one of her tells is her curt endings of her text messages. They can be nice. They're nice all the way through, but like one of her tells is, I think she was using my peace, love, and tacos off to me. But even her very last text to me was, you know, it was curt, short but sweet, but not sweet, saccharine sweet, like
Ollie's
fake,
very good at being
manipulative.
disingenuous in a very
Hmm.
grandmotherly, kind, seemingly manner, and she can be
Right.
very brash, right? And she can lack tact, but she covers it with like glitter somehow. Ollie is
Somehow.
a
It's
rotten
her voice. She
person.
has a nice voice. She does have a
She's
kind
just
voice.
a rotten fucking person. And, I was playing nice with her because she was being nice to you for a minute. And so if somebody's nice to you, I'm going to be nice to them because you're my friend above all people, right? So if they're nice to you, I'm not going to be mean to them. But here's the bottom line. This bitch called my mom the day my great uncle died because she didn't believe that I had a death in the family to offer her condolences on her brother. Okay, it was her uncle, my great uncle. And I also have recently been given the information that Ollie's the one who, in fact, called the police to my house on New Year's Eve last year, December 31st, and said that there was children screaming from my home like they were being abused, which then caused
Yeah,
a
but you knew that then because you made a
I didn't
video. But
know it was
don't talk
Ollie. No,
about it because it's gonna make it
I was
all
told
happen again.
no,
Here's the thing:
I was told it was
you and
somebody else, but
Ollie
I've
are
now
not
since learned
fighting, so don't
the
fight
shit
right
Ollie did
now.
to me was rotten.
It was
She
rotten, and it was
She's
rotten, and I
apologized
understand that
half-heartedly.
you
She's
were like,
apologized half-heartedly. I accept the apology. I
yeah,
appreciate the apology. However, when
but you
somebody
knew
shows you
you
who
were
they
looking
are,
sideways at her because she made herself that way.
when somebody shows you who they are, believe them.
Yeah, but here's the thing: if everybody went by that, they would also say, okay. Here's the
They
thing:
could say that about me,
people say
possibly.
that. No, no, no. But here's the thing: you said next to me, same. Now I already knew who you were. I liked you and feel like you're one of the. I don't know. I'm not even gonna
How many
say
people's
like
real
kind of.
lives have I harassed? How many things have I
But
actually
right. But
exploited?
here's the so if people are gonna say that saying when somebody shows, and I'm not talking about you saying it, but I've heard other people say it, then
Okay.
they need to look at that action as a parent, any parent, a father, a mother, or even just a friend, and say they were swearing on their mother or
Here's the
whatever
bottom
they
line,
love.
Tracy. Here's the bottom line, Tracy. I'm no longer in the business of all this forgiveness and forgetting the past and, this, that, and another thing because all it's done is bit me in the ass. The bottom line is I am going to be friends and loyal to the people who are good people. So far, that list it has you and one other person on it. Everybody else
Oh,
can fuck
well,
off.
to be honest,
Everybody else can fuck off. I don't care about you. I don't want to hear about your life. I don't want you to contact me. I don't give a shit who's trolling you. I don't care. I don't have time for it in my life. No harm, no foul. Wish you
nah.
all the best of luck.
I
But
had
you know
gotten
what?
a comment left one time saying the only person, I don't even know the rest of it, but it was like I remember it saying the only person who trusts Tiffany is you on YouTube,
That's
and I
great.
thought to myself, awesome,
That's great.
fucking
That's
awesome,
fantastic. I'm glad everybody
yeah,
doesn't trust me.
awesome,
Stay the fuck
because
away because
fucking
I
I'll trust
probably don't
her with
like
my
you.
life.
That's a
Yeah.
fantastic. You know what? That's
Yep.
great. I'm glad they said that because you know what? The
Me
bottom
too.
line is I probably don't like the person who says that. And if that nobody
It
trusts
was.
me,
I'll tell you who it was. Mr. Rourke.
good. Yeah, that's an accurate
Yeah. And then I called him a low life, and I
that
called
is
him a
an
low life.
accurate thing for him to say because you know what? He is a snake in the grass, slimy little
Yep.
POS. And I don't want him in my orbit anyway. So
Who's this,
he
Mike?
can yeah, Mike is somebody who I've known for a long time.
Aren't
And
you a
Mike
rotten
is
person for trash
no, and
talking
Mike
me? He's talking about
no.
you.
Yeah, he's talking about me. Mike is somebody who I've known for about 7 years, and Mike is a little snake in the
He's
grass like
never.
Rourke.
I've never heard Tiffany say that
Uh-uh.
Katie
No,
suicide trolled Tang.
she
Never.
did. You want to know the truth, Tracy? She did. That's
Listen
the
to me.
truth.
You know something? You want to know the truth? Right
Yeah.
on my live stream, she said that she was friends with Chang, but
Nope.
by accident,
See, Mike is a
her
little shit.
husband
Mike
was
is a shit
recording.
stir.
Listen, was recording
Yeah.
her the
Yeah.
conversation when Chang admitted something about something from his childhood, and by accident it got released and it got ripped, and that is what
You
made that
know what
man be
happened?
so,
Take his comment
bad.
down, and can I block
And not
him because
by
Mike is a
accident.
little
By
Mike
accident,
is
that
a little
doesn't happen. Those are steps you
no.
have to take. You know, you could
Yeah.
by accident record something but never release it. But it takes
No.
another step to do that and another step to do that. So those things aren't by accident when there's multiple steps. So what I'm
Why
saying is,
can't I see him? Take his comment down, and I'm going to explain something to everybody because I feel it
okay.
needs to be explained.
Oh, sorry.
Hypocrisy is lying snake in the grass. Mike is somebody I've known for about 7 years. Mike follows me around and befriends my people I'm not friends with, and he stirs the pot. He's a shit stirrer, and he always has been. He's done it with Lenny Posner. He's done it with me. This is why I have Mike on permanent block, and he will never become unblocked from me because he has shown me the type of person who he is, which is a disingenuous, shit stirring troublemaker. And I'm sorry, Mike.
All right,
I've
but
known you I've known you for a very
listen.
long time, Mike. I've known you for a very long time, but you've shown me who you are. And I've told you a long time ago, I don't like the person who you've shown me to be because you're a troublemaker. So take your little opinions and take them away from me because once
All
again,
right,
you're
but
just,
can I just say one thing? Listen. On the flip side, Mike, this is the first time I've ever seen him say something like about you, and you know
mm-hmm,
I'm totally your friend. So I want to put this out there one time, but then if it continues, Mike, wait. Okay, Katie can show you talking about Ashley the same day you defend her life. Listen, I
no,
don't want to see it, Mike, because this is
no.
the thing, Mike. Don't you understand that if you don't think that me and Tiffany have a normal friendship where we both get mad at each other and you're wrong. We do,
Mm-hmm.
right?
She gets mad at me
And
all the time. She gets mad at me all the time
I
and
do
gets
a lot
frustrated
more
with
than
me all the
I
time.
hate
And
it.
I get frustrated.
Yes, right. And so
This I
what
get
I'm
frustrated with
saying
her
is,
too, but here's the bottom line, Mike. Here's the bottom line. When people are solid, this kind of bullshit that you're trying to pull right now isn't going to work. It does work with people like Katie, and I'm going to explain the situation right now publicly, and I'm
yeah,
going to
but
say
I
it this
just want
once.
to say finish what I was saying,
Oh, I'm sorry.
because if we can end this situation right now,
Mm-hmm.
it would be great if that you could both right here, like if you have an animosity between each
I
other,
will never forget. I will never forget what Mike has done to me on
you
multiple
don't have to
occasions.
forget what he did to you.
No, I
All
just
I'm
don't want
saying is
him in
for
my
him
world. I
to
don't want
stop
him in my world. I don't want him
antagonizing you.
around. Tracy, I've known him for 7 years. He has done this to me in multiple times, in multiple situations, with multiple people. He
Right.
is
And I'm
not
asking him to
trustworthy.
please not do that because he's always been kind in the chat. Not that he comes often, but even in I stopped in a live stream the other day. Nobody said anything to me except for him. He said hello.
Hmm.
So he's been kind and polite. So if he could just continue in this
I mean, I could
forum.
sit here and say to Mike, I could show you all the bad things Katie has said about you, but I'm not going to be
Right. But
lame
you're
like
not.
that.
So I'm
I'm
asking
not
him
going
to
to be
do the same
no.
thing and
So
just
Mike,
not.
Don't slip down the slippery slope, buddy. I've told you how I felt about you. I've blocked you for a reason for years now. I don't want you around me. I don't like you. We had a falling out that is not
I gotta
ever
plug my phone
anything.
in. I'm hoping it doesn't die. Keep talking.
Him and I had a falling out that's not something that I'm ever going to feel comfortable with him being around or him being my friend. I have very valid reasons for feeling that way. You've recognized that,
I
Mike. I
understand that.
asked
Yeah.
you to stay away. But
Fine, I'm
here's the
done.
bottom
He said,
line.
fine, I'm done. He said, fine, I'm done.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine. So no more talking
Yeah.
about. But here's
Yeah.
the bottom line. What happened with Katie and I, and here's why
Yeah, but
we've had.
don't talk about like Mike though. That's just fine.
Mike can fuck right on off, and I've told him
No,
that many
but he
times,
said,
and he
fine,
just
I'm
doesn't.
done. So I
No, he
understand
can
you
get
were
you
defending
can still
yourself, but
come
I
over
get
here, Mike,
nervous.
when I'm not here, but don't come over here trying to stir the pot like a little old biddy. I've told you about
I've
this how
never
many
seen
times
him
for
do
how many
that.
years
I've
now. Go
never
away.
ever seen him ever say anything
That's
bad
because it's
about you.
convenient.
That's why
That's
surprised.
because it's convenient for him right now to do this because he's trying to, prove some
Like
things.
I'm surprised because I've never seen him. He knows you're
This is
my
what he
friend,
does, Tracy. This is what he does. I've known the guy for, listen, I've known
so
him
I'm
for
surprised. That's why I'm just
7 years.
asking
This
him.
isn't the first time
He
he's
knows
done
you're
this
my
to
friend,
me.
so I'm very surprised at
This
him.
is a person who's gone to my enemies behind my back and shared all kinds of personal and private
Well,
info just
Well, here's the
because.
thing. Like, you know how he says Katie can show you. Okay, here's the thing. Let me just point
Mhm.
out the thing about what people who do this kind of stuff
I'll tell you what
and
he's
they
talking
leave
about
things.
too.
But
He's
wait, no,
talking
I don't
about.
want to hear. No, I want to say something. What they don't realize is this. You know how he's willing to do that because he's mad at you? What
He
they
has no
don't
reason to be
realize
mad at
is
me.
that they don't realize they're hurting an innocent person that doesn't
No, there was nothing. No,
don't go
there's
through
nothing.
life
There's
with
nothing that
blinders
he's.
on. Like whatever they did to Ace to make her stop talking to me,
Who? What
right?
enemies? Mike, just go away. Quit stirring your shit. Here's what he's talking about. There was one day when you text messaged me and you're very mad at me that I took down all my videos on my channel about.
Absolutely, I know exactly why you would have ever said anything
I
about me.
was
It's
fresh. I
because
was
I
very
fly off the
frustrated with that
handle.
because I didn't
I fly off
understand.
the handle, and
Yeah,
I
you flew off
know.
the handle that day, and
And that's
my
why I
feelings
don't
were very
know what he
hurt.
said.
My
That's
feelings
why
were very
sometimes
hurt.
I'll say, "Don't listen to my messages," or
Well,
"Don't
you know
read my
what? When I
messages."
know you're in that kind of a mood now, you know what I do? I don't even read them because I know you
Yeah.
sort it out yourself, and then you come back around and then you figure it out.
Yeah,
But
that's
here's.
why I say it, and that's
Yep.
why I could totally get it if you
Yep.
did.
So that day
Totally
I
get
was
it.
very hurt and I was very frustrated. And I was like, why? I don't understand why she's so
You don't
angry
even
with
have
me
to
about
say what
this.
you said because
Yep.
we're friends.
It wasn't
It's
anything bad. It
nothing.
was just like,
Yeah.
am
You
I,
know
am
what?
I,
It
am I,
didn't even doesn't it didn't pain me. It doesn't. So to talk
yep.
about it is work. Let's not talk about
So
it.
here's the
If
thing.
you
Though. But here's what I want to do, what I do want to talk about. And I want to talk about this falling out with Katie and I and why it happened. And I'm going to be
okay.
brief and I'm not going to be detailed about it, but I'm going to say this. Katie listened to something that UK Troll said in a live stream about her
I don't
recording
know
me
you, Kate Troll.
at Piss and Excellence, the other
Oh,
Tracy. Okay,
okay.
she Tracy's been running around saying she has some recording of me in a hangout with Yaxley and herself where I'm slagging Katie off really bad, and she's been claiming she has this thing recorded, and I'm saying horrible stuff about her. Now here's what happened. Katie then, instead of talking to me about it, she tried to talk to me about it, but I was really stressed out that day because this guy's been harassing
Well,
me and
why
doing all.
couldn't Katie just realize that you guys argue like friends and you may have been
But
meaning
let me finish this. Let me finish this because
okay.
it'll all make sense when I finish. Okay, so
But then
here's
again,
what
it is
happened.
just an excellent, so whatever. She's bad.
But
Go
here's
ahead.
what happened. Here's what happened though. Let me finish. Here's what happened. I was dealing with this person who's doing some really fucking weird shit to me, right? And it's been a very bad situation. Katie's been in the know and aware of all of this shit, right? She has been fully aware of everything that's been going on with this person. Now, what she wound up doing is because she couldn't get a hold of me one day because I was under a massive amount of stress. You were trying to get a hold of me the same day, Tracy, and I didn't respond to you either. You
Mm-hmm.
probably know the day. You know what I'm talking about? You're like, just respond to me. I didn't respond to anybody. I was really
Hey, I
fucking
know
stressed
that's
out.
you now that you take a break away and you take a break away from
I
everything.
get I
Not
yes,
just,
and
it's nothing personal. It's
no.
you
Katie
just
has known
thinking,
me for
like
years and she knew.
self-reflecting and whatever. Well, I
Look at
haven't known you for years, but I
but
feel
and
like,
you know this about me, right? She's known me for years and she
but I still
knows this,
send
but
fucking
I had.
messages like, forget about it. Because I'm still stupid.
I know, and I just ignore it. Look, do I ever come down on you
Good.
for that? No, no, I really don't. But check it out. So
No.
here's the deal, okay? Instead of waiting for me to get into a point where I felt like talking or I was able to talk or I wasn't stressed out, instead of giving me that courtesy, she decides to assume that Tracy must have some recording of me saying horrible shit about her. She
Say
goes
a
to
different name. Say like PE or something. Because when you
Piss
say
and
Tracy,
Excellence. She believed
yeah,
that she had this recording of me where I'm saying horrible shit about her. And instead
you
of
go shit.
and instead of not having any type of uh
Yeah, come on,
trust
Mr. Jones.
trust
Let's not go Jolly Roger.
because of not having any trust in me, she decided to go to this person Yaxley and ask him what was going on. Now this person has a vendetta against me. He's trying to hurt me in my personal life, and he is trying to turn
I
people
don't like
against me.
that when people
So
like. I like
listen,
what
but let
you
me finish
did.
this. So this is really important. Let me finish this though. So here's
Yeah.
what happened. So she goes to him and says and tells him things that jeopardized my safety. Okay. Instead of just waiting it out, understanding the fact that I had all this shit going on, she goes to enemy number one and tells him all this shit. I find out about it. I'm pissed, right? But here's what happened. I recorded Piss and Excellence too. I recorded that hangout too because I knew the minute I got in there, these people were trying to stonewall me. Yes, it is, Mike. And I recorded it too. So here's what happened. That recording that she's been threatening Katie with, there's nothing bad in it. Okay. There was nothing
Exactly.
in there that was said
Yeah.
that was bad. So
Right.
here's what I
Hmm.
did. I didn't release it. I did nothing. She went to him. She assumed she went to him. She gave up all this info that was really, really detrimental that she shouldn't have done. And I've seen the whole conversation with her and this guy now, right? And what she did was so super wrong.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
when this
Because they
one
do that
person
with
came
me if
back,
I
but check it
private a
out.
video.
But listen, when this chick came back, then what happened was this one chick came back and she started slagging Katie and I off. And this is an old friend of Katie's, and she was freaking out about it. I blocked her on a different means of communication, but I left her open on my phone. I knew she was going to contact me. So she contacted me about this chick coming back. When she called me up on the phone, I answered the phone. I said, well, just ignore this bitch. Who cares? But I want you to hear something. I played her the entire conversation that Tracy's been threatening to release because I defended her. I didn't say anything bad.
Hmm.
I played it all for her, and she goes, oh, fuck. Right? She realized, like, holy shit,
Yeah, but that's too late then, right?
it was too late, but that was my whole point. Her and Agent 19 did a whole fucking live stream slagging me off, believing
Oh,
this
they
guy who's
really
been.
did do that?
Yes, they did.
See,
They
I
believing
thought
this
that
guy
would be like an
who's
old
believing this guy
one.
who's been lying to everybody, who's known for doing these sorts of things, who had the intent to hurt me, who had the intent to turn people against me. She jumped the gun and believed people with
I know
bad
how that is
intent.
because you know who else does that? Debbie. Not that me and Debbie are as close as
But
you and
but but
Katie.
my whole point is that this whole threat of dropping this audio of me slagging this woman off, right? And all this bad, it wasn't there. I don't know. This is somebody, Mr. Jones, that I've known for a very long
Yeah, but
time.
I know, but Mr. Jones, the thing is that even though, say, in your mind, you're saying, like, uh, okay, whereas me and
But
Tiffany
let me
say,
finish this. Let me finish this really
go ahead.
fast before I
Yep.
lose my point. So here's the whole point in all this. I didn't
Yep.
backstab Katie. Okay. I didn't slag her off in any way. Anything that I had to say to this person in order to protect me from and protect her from uh, certain situations she knew about firsthand. Her and I talked about it this at length. She wasn't in the dark about anything.
Why was
Everything
this an excellence in the hangout? So,
because this person went to her and was trying to stir shit up for some reason, and that I wanted them to stop, and the only way that I was told it could stop is if I went into a hangout with her and discussed things. I don't even understand. It was basically not, there was no discussion of anything stopping. They
yeah,
were just
I
kind of
wouldn't
cornered
even
me.
converse
But
with
but but
them.
but here's the bottom line. Here's the bottom line. Katie
Hmm.
assumed that I was shit talking her behind her back. She understood the situation with the other person because I told her about it, and her and I she knew about things I had to say and why I had to say them. but she assumed that Tracy had some recording of me really fucking slagging her off that was very, very,
Yeah, but she didn't.
but she didn't. But she assumed she
Right.
did.
But
And
I
she went
know,
to a person,
and
she
that's
went to a
why,
person who was actively trying to fucking cause problems in my real life and shared more information with them that was really not good for her to do. So you know
right,
what I have to say about that after I played her that recording? Bye-bye. You can say whatever the fuck you want about me. I wish you the best, but bye-bye. Bye-bye.
right.
Not
That
my fault.
happens when you if I private a
Bye-bye.
video, like if I private a live stream, then Ollie would tell fucking Debbie, or even those people on, the across the seas live streams comments, they'll say, oh, but she's privated it now because she's talking about this one, talking about that one. And
Look,
they may not have even come up. Remember the night
look.
with the drones flying over Debbie's house? But really, you and Tommy were just talking about how advanced drones were in general.
Yeah,
Debbie's
exactly.
house,
I mean,
flying over Debbie's house wasn't even mentioned.
my whole point in all this is just this.
Don't believe shit you hear.
Well, don't slag a friend off to somebody who's trying to cause detriment in their real life. This goes beyond online shit. This is I'm talking like this could have caused massive problems in my real life and put me in a very bad situation. How dare you go to that person and share information with them that's going to intentionally fire them up and intentionally cause more detriment and harm in my life over something that you haven't even seen or heard or that you didn't even know if it really exists. She took a chance on the fact that there was some recording
It
out there of
wasn't
me.
taking a chance, it was taking an opportunity
It was taking
because
an
they've been
opportunity,
waiting for
right?
one. Yeah, they were
And then here's the
waiting for
worst
the
part of it. Here's the worst
opportunity.
part of it. Here's the worst part of it, Tracy, is after I found out she did this, I sent her some messages explaining why I said the things I said and why did the things I did that had nothing to do with her. The things that I'm talking about that she shared with this person had zero to do with her. It had to do with other people, and she shared them anyways. After the fact, after I found out she'd gone to him and said these things, she then turned around and shared more with this person, right? Which caused more fucking problems. Done. Done.
Right.
She
Because
can
that's
spin this
looking
and
for
she
an
can turn this however
opportunity.
she wants. She can
Yeah.
spin this into the biggest fucking, oh, I'm the victim story she wants. Those are the facts. That's what happened. I played the recording
This
for
is
her.
what I notice about real friends. They want to know the truth, right? Because they don't want it to have happened. So they'll go to the friend where the accusation is being pointed against. They'll ask that person. But a person who doesn't really think much of the friendship doesn't get hurt by what they think their friend might have
Look,
said. They
look,
take it as an
she
opportunity
thought I
to
slagged her
hurt.
off to Tracy. She thought I slagged her off to Tracy. Okay, she thought I slagged her off in this call with Tracy and this person, Yaxley, and I didn't. What I said was very reasonable and fair, and I defended her, and I was very emotional, and it was an emotional call, and I have been under the shit that's been done to me lately has been unreal. Okay, and she jumped right on the bandwagon. The worst part of it is too that I've now learned is that she's been continuously talking to this person up until like the day before yesterday while she was then talking to me and saying the
Right. Same
opposite to
thing with
me
Miss
about
Passion and
no.
Jules.
Yeah, exactly. That's another
Yeah.
situation with that email.
Yeah.
So Tracy, I
Friendship
gotta
made
get to
mine.
bed because I gotta get to bed, but I'm taking the kids to the beach. But here's all I gotta say about that. Mike, you've known me for 7 fucking years. How dare you come in here, start running your racket and running your mouth about shit you don't know the full story on? Use
Well, he stopped
discernment.
now.
Use discernment. It's ridiculous. He's
Yeah,
known
he
me for
stopped
a
now.
long
And here's the thing. I think that as long
Tracy,
as we keep
this guy,
friends,
you don't know
I
the
know, but
history.
regardless of him, I think if me and you just keep being
I'm
who we
keeping to
are,
myself.
and
I'm
friends,
keeping to myself. I
yeah,
don't
but
have,
we can stick with me together because
well,
I
that's what I
feel
mean,
like,
to myself and you. And
yeah,
the
I feel
bottom
like
line,
this could be, better. Like, I know
you're
that
right,
you
Mr.
do like
Jones.
YouTube. I know that you do like YouTube because you didn't start your channel for no reason. And there's things you want to talk about that mean stuff to you. And I believe in myself and I believe in you. And so
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking right now like I'm just talking to you. Okay. And anybody can rip
Mm-hmm.
this, anybody can think it's stupid, anybody can think whatever they want. But I love to see the best stuff in people. And in actuality, looking back, if you think about you and me, we've always been kind, even if it's been veiled. You know how there's veiled insults, but there's also veiled being nice. You know, if
Mhm.
there's one thing, then there's an opposite, except for overwhelmed. You know what I mean? Because you could be overwhelmed, but nobody is underwhelmed. But anyway,
You can be underwhelmed.
you could be, but people don't even say that, and nobody's ever really just kind of whelmed. But there's like, oh, I'm overwhelmed, but whelmed, is that even a word? But right. But anyway, to go back to it, I feel like I that they did me a favor, and here we both are, and we have nowhere to go but forward.
Yep,
So
that's how I feel about it. Listen, I'm not
yeah,
losing sleep or crying about this, or I'm not even
yeah,
mad. That's just the
yeah.
fact. That's the fact of what happened. That's the truth. And you know what? It is what it is. No harm,
I
no
know they
foul.
were here to hurt you, but I see that's what I didn't know about Mike. See, Mike is just like
No, I'm not
everybody
talking about
else.
Mike. I'm not talking about Mike. I'm talking about Ashley.
Oh, okay.
Mike and mine and Mike's history is very extensive and it's very long, and it would take a very long time to explain. He knows what he's done. He knows that he should be keeping his mouth shut when it comes to me right now, but yet he doesn't. And that's okay. That's his choice. I just don't want him around me. There's a
And what
reason
do
he's
you
been
think he
blocked.
mean about run away?
Mr. Jones, I know what he means by that. I'll explain it
Does
to
he
you
mean run away
tomorrow.
from me? Because this is all I
No,
see. I
no.
think that's
He's
why
he's
they hate
talking about
you. Is
no, Tracy,
okay.
no, he's talking about something else. Trust me. He's right. He's absolutely right. And I
I mean,
agree
I
with
hope
him.
he's enjoyed it here, Mr. Jones,
No,
because I
he
remember
has.
this is the
No.
first time I met him, and I think before, Mike. I think that Mike has been in here. This is what I like to think. I don't even know if I'm right, but that people come sometimes to my live streams, and even if they're lurking, but if they're sometimes I won't give them what they want, and it drives them crazy, but they still have to watch for 3.5 hours. You know what I mean? I'm
Mhm.
well aware of, I'm not blind to these, all these things, because all of these human characteristics and flaws and good things have been going on for centuries. It's just, and it's not new to YouTube, right? It's only new, what's only new is YouTube. The characteristics aren't new. So I'm well aware of, like, sometimes I'll notice people will say, like, about helping, but I'll just think in my mind, these people need help, you know,
Yeah, they
because the way
do.
I want to help it is the same way you do, is by standing by my convictions and having a spine. And at the end of the day, that's how battles are won. Okay, the last man standing. So
Right.
no matter how long it takes, if there's times when you have to talk about it and be angry, you can. You can have the floor. And if there's times when you don't want to talk about it and I'm talking about it, you can go along with it and let it be
Look, I've
annoying.
stayed relatively silent about this
You
whole
have
situation.
a
I've
lot of
stayed
things. Me too. Me too.
I've stayed relatively silent about the situation, and I haven't said very much publicly,
Right.
but I'm not about to be slagged off by somebody who I've known for 7 years, who
No,
did me
I'm not
dirty,
talking about him personally. And I'm
who's done
telling
me
you,
dirty. No, but just in general, but Mike, I'm not about to be slagged off by somebody who I've known for
and
7
he did
years,
flag you off. He
who's done me
absolutely
dirty,
did.
who's done me dirty in the past in the same
And I
manner,
didn't know that you guys had that past.
with him only having one side of the story, and it's extremely insulted, Mike, by
But
what you
I
just
want
did to
you to
me, because he should
understand
know
that as
fucking
much
better.
as what he's saying to you is something that you're used to, it's not for me. And when I
Yeah.
see that person come into my live stream, they're polite. And they were polite on the live stream last night when nobody else was. They said, "Hi, SG," which isn't, huge, but
Which,
it
and I
was
hope
more
he
than
doesn't
anybody
stay
else
away
said.
from your live stream either. But I hope when he
No, no,
sees
no.
me
I
in here,
don't
he
care
stays
about
the
that.
hell
If he
away.
stays away from my live stream now, it doesn't matter, because if he doesn't like you, then then I don't, you're my friend. What I'm saying is at this moment, don't judge my shock by
Oh, yeah,
thinking
yeah,
that's
yeah, yeah.
how I feel. My
Oh, no,
shock
no, no,
at
no, no,
his
yeah, yeah.
behavior is, as much
Well,
as
Tracy,
your knowledge
you and
of
I haven't
knowing
even
him.
spoke about what's happened. You don't have a clue
Yeah,
what's
I
going
didn't
on.
know anything about you and Mike having animosity. So to see him say stuff like that, and if it's about like he has to go, he's got to go, he's got to be gone. You're the only mod in here. If you want to delete those comments, you do it.
Well, I have
I
him
don't have a
blocked, so
mod.
I can't. I have him blocked, so for some reason, I can't even see
Oh, he
them.
said sorry, SG. Okay, thank you. I see. I appreciate that. And I'm sorry, Tiffany, because what I'm saying is I'm as much shocked as you are
There's a
understanding.
long history here with him.
Yeah,
There's a
and I'm
long
sorry
history
for
here with him, and I
that.
have 7 years,
But
and
if
he's
he
done me
started to
really
like
dirty,
me
and
as
he
just
knows
like
it.
separately,
And he knows it, and he has a lot of nerve coming in here and trying to do that shit again. And I don't
if he said
appreciate it.
sorry and maybe he'll never do it again,
Well,
because
he said
I'm
sorry to you,
sure.
but I'm just telling you, Mike, stay away from me. I've had to tell you this how many times over the last 7 years. I'm not joking when I say it to you. Just go away. Go away. Last time I should have to say this to you. When somebody
But could
puts
he
up
be
personal
nice?
boundaries,
Could he
when
be
somebody
nice
puts,
though? And you could just look at
I
him
have no reason
sideways?
to be. Look, Tracy, I have
No,
been
not you
walking.
be nice. I'm saying, could he be? If he was
No,
nice.
he can be nice. He can be nice, but then at the end of the day, he does shit like this, and I don't appreciate it. Look, I
No, I'm
used to
asking,
be.
what about right now? Like, could it just
I
be
don't have
like,
any interest in pretending anymore, Tracy. Here's the
I
bottom
didn't
line.
know that you guys
You
had a
know,
long history. I'd never
look at
seen him
I am
before.
polite to look at I'm polite to him. I'm decent to him. I don't have any reason why I should be. Here's my reason. I'm going to exit with this, and I'm just going to put this out here. I have
No,
been
because
more
if
than
you
forgive.
exit, then I'm gonna feel like we went to bed mad.
No, we're not. I'm not mad at you. I'm not even mad at Mike.
I know, but that's how I'm gonna feel if you exit right
Okay, but
now.
listen, let me put this out here.
We have to
Here's
talk
the
about
bottom.
something that's not about
Here's
this
about. But
in order
listen,
to make you feel good.
let me say something. Here's the bottom line, Tracy. I've been very forgiving to people in the past, and I've been
Me
very
too. Both of
understanding,
us.
and
I understand you. Yeah.
I've been very, very. I've allowed a
I know, but
lot,
this is what I think. I think
but
from that day that you said you were on the road, you said, I'm all for the road to forgiveness and
but when
accountability,
forgiveness
even
starts
my
to hurt
own.
me,
I'm not
when
talking
forgiveness,
about Mike. I'm not talking about any of that. All
mhm.
I picture in my head is I don't think about those people, and they may say things, and you're a
And
mod
that's
in
what
here, and you can remove them. You can do
I'm not
whatever
going to
you
remove
want. You're
anybody
my
just
only
because
mod.
they said some
But
stupid shit
everything is
to me.
about, like, right now, the only person that at the end of the day really matters that
Uh-huh.
is here after this live stream. I could discuss every person in the live stream as long as it's not you.
But
That's all
Tracy,
that matters to me. So
here's
don't ever be mad at
exactly.
me.
Oh, I'm not
Okay?
mad at you. No, no, no. I'm not mad at you.
Yeah.
I don't mean to sound like I'm
Yeah.
mad at you. No, here's the bottom line. Tracy, I've forgiven so many of these people in so many different ways and so many different times for so many situations. And if they keep hurting me, I have to be responsible and self-preserving enough of a person to say, you know what? Sometimes
Yeah, self-preservation for me is the same that way.
you can forgive people for the wrongs they've made, but that doesn't give them the hall pass back into your
I
life.
think that we grow every day, and like even though you don't forgive him, you can always look sideways at him, but be like you called me diplomatic. You're the one who said I was being diplomatic.
I'm all about being
Then no,
diplomatic until
not
somebody
even
shows up in
talking
a
to
live
him. You don't even
stream
have to talk to him.
and starts to flag me off. You know, I don't appreciate it, he knows what he
And here's
did.
the thing, that you're modded here, so you can see what he says. So
No,
even though you said you have
I
him
have him
blocked,
blocked. I have him blocked.
no, because I think as a mod,
I
you
can't see him.
still.
No, I can't see him.
No,
No, because I'm
no,
looking right
because
now.
that means that would go against the you being a mod, because then
Yeah, I
you
can't.
wouldn't be
I'm
able to
telling you right
see
now, I
that
would have blocked him
content.
about 15 minutes ago if I could. I can't see him in the chat. So that's fine. Mike, just stay away from me, please. I don't need to ask you this for the 100th time. Just don't come around me. All right.
I
I don't
didn't
appreciate
post
what you do.
anything.
No, you can't. I can't. I honestly can't. But I mean, the bottom line is this: I've been very forgiving to a lot of people,
So have
and
you ever been to a haunted house?
sometimes you just reach your limit. I've reached my limit with a
I
lot of
know. I
people,
have
and
to,
it's no hard
Tiffany.
feelings.
I
It's no
have
hard
to.
feelings. I'm not going to be slagging them off. I'm
I
not
don't
going
want
to ever
us
bring.
to feel. I don't want
Let me
us
finish
to
though. I'm
feel
not going to be
bad.
flagging them off. I'm not going to be slagging them off. I'm never going to bring any of this shit up again. I'm just simply done, and it's okay. Everybody can move
Not with
on.
me though. Let's talk about a haunted house.
No, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about other people. I'm
I
talking about
know.
other
So let's
people.
talk about a haunted house. It's
I
much
don't
more
like haunted
interesting
houses.
than
The
with
last one
other
I went to,
people.
they chased me out of it with a chainsaw and it scared the shit
Who
out of me. I
did?
almost pissed my pants. The last haunted
Who
house I
hit you
went
with
to,
a chainsaw?
the person in the haunted house.
Oh, you mean like a scary, but it was for Halloween thing? Because that happened to
Yeah,
me
yeah,
once.
yeah. It was scary as hell though. And they had a chainsaw at the end where they chased you out the driveway and I seriously thought I
Yeah.
was gonna die.
Isn't
It's
that scary?
terrifying. It was
Isn't
very
that
scary,
scary?
yeah.
Because fucking the one did it at like I was waiting for a haunted hayride, and he had a chainsaw, and there was pumpkins, and like if sometimes he would cut into the pumpkin, but close by and viciously, and it would cover people with pumpkin. And he like came up to me with the I got covered in pumpkin, and he came up to me with the real chainsaw. I thought it was gonna be fake or something, like plastic, but it was real in my face, and I was had pumpkin on me.
Hey girl,
And
listen.
you know what?
Yeah.
This they did this thing on this haunted hayride where I mean it was really good. Like they you had to wait for a while in line, and it was the people were dressed scary doing with the chainsaw, and then you get on it. Sometimes you expect, and sometimes it is lame, like one of those haunted attractions. It's lame, but this one, the haunted hayride was pretty good because it's pitch black out there and it's like cornfield, whatever. And it is a working farm, but during the winter time, this is what they do. And so the guys, the people would come out of the darkness with chainsaws and shit and run up to the anything. But they acted out this thing where it was like a guillotine, but the girl's like screaming and the guillotine dropped and she gets her head cut off. But I'm telling you, it was realistic. You know what I mean? It looked, realistic. And
Yeah.
yeah. And then so you get to this at the end of it, it's a long one. Worth your money, probably about
Mm-hmm.
$15, but worth the cash. And you get to the end of it. But now they change this every year, what the end of it will be. So this particular year, it was a trailer park, but like an abandoned trailer park. Listen, are you listening? Tiffany, I see you in
Abandoned
the chat
trailer
room.
park and they change it every year. I'm listening, honey. I'm
All
listening.
right. I'm listening, honey. Aren't you special?
My angry
Right?
chicken,
So,
angry, angry chicken
little
face.
waitress said to me one time, aren't you special, dear? Like I was like there's something wrong with me. Aren't you special, dear? I was like, oh my God, what the fuck? Right? So fucking I get out in this freaking abandoned trailer park, and you're
Mhm.
discombobulated because you're like, what the fuck? Because they do have, you know, it does pull off they're real trailers, that are probably old junk trailers that they decorated, and fucking. Okay, you know what, Mr. Jones, you're cool for hanging in here. I'll tell you, you're Mr. Jones to you
Mr.
is
Jones
my
is a
nemesis.
solid dude. He's always very reasonable and very yeah, he's a solid person. I like when I see him places because he's just cool as hell. You know what
That's
I mean?
good.
He's hung in here. He's hung out.
I've been to Maine. It's a long state.
It's a
Let me
long
tell you
stay.
that.
So California. Hey, girlie,
It's
I really got
long.
to get to bed though because I'm taking the boys to the beach. I'm sorry it
Okay.
got so weird. Mike likes to do this kind of stuff, and it's okay,
I
Mike.
know.
I
I
forgive
don't
you.
know. I didn't know,
It's
actually.
okay. I'm not mad at, but listen, I'm not mad at you at all. Don't take it that way.
Okay, good.
Don't think that anything weird has gone on or anything's
Hey,
been
make a
said.
response video for Roscoe and Teddy.
Oh, you know I will. You know I will
Yeah, please
because
do, because I know yours will be way better than mine. Mine are just
no,
me sitting here, the fucking
Tracy, listen,
me
those
like
were
trying
so
to
funny.
play out two fucking characters.
Those were so damn cute. Let
Were
me
they all
talk to
right?
Let me talk to Roscoe about this. I hear him.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm not here, Mom. Oh, Mr. Jones is leaving because you're leaving. That's fucked up. Tiffany goes,
Good
I'm
night,
leaving
Mr.
it. And
Jones.
Mr. Jones goes, good night, everyone.
Yep.
That's what I'm saying, Tiffany. You're the queen. You don't
No,
even
no, no.
realize it.
I'm sorry
No,
about
no,
all this.
no,
I'm
Tiffany.
sorry all this
I'm
shit
not
got brought up
saying
here.
that like to kiss your
I didn't
ass
want it
or
to, but
nothing. I'm saying it because you gotta understand that whether it's for good or evil, you know what I mean? You have a charismatic, um, like you give off a vibe about yourself where you could be a spokesperson. I'm not even kidding. You could
I just think people think I'm a massive asshole and they don't
no, no, no,
really
no. Forget those people. You could go audition tomorrow to be a spokesperson on those commercials for the shows. Every voice, I swear to God, sounds like yours. It's perfect. Just all you have to do is send in one recording to any of those ads for spokesperson or you're hired. I'm telling you, you're hired. You're going to be the richest person in the world, and then
Tracy, you
everything
crack
you
me
do is
up.
going to touch the goal. It's going to turn to gold. You know what I mean? You're like you're,
Tracy,
so
you absolutely crack me up.
don't even look down. That's when you see those people, is when you look down. Don't look
That's
down
right.
anymore.
I'm not
Yeah,
looking.
that's the
No,
only
you're
time
right.
you see them.
Yep.
It's looking
Yep.
down. Don't look down. Look
Nope.
straight ahead. Look up.
What did I tell you
Anywhere
that one
else
time?
but
Hey, what
down.
did I tell you that one time about let's stay in this place? It's nice here. Remember? Stay in
Yep.
the place. Yeah. Yeah. Let's just stay in
Yeah.
that place because it is. It's nice there. It's nice. And
Yeah,
I like
don't
it.
look
I like it here.
down. That's the
Nope.
only time you're going to see any of those people. It's
Yep.
not next to you,
Absolutely right.
not above you. It's not even behind you. It's when you look down. They're beneath
Yep.
you. They're not even behind you. They're beneath you.
Yep.
And don't
There's no
look.
reason to look that. Yep.
Yeah,
There's no
don't
reason to
look
look that
down.
way.
All you
Yep.
have to do is keep your head up. That's it.
Yep.
Physically,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then make a conscious effort. And
Look, I'm
to
not
like,
even.
I know
I'm
it
not
sounds
even.
silly. I know it sounds silly. Just make a conscious effort. Keep your head up and don't look down. And really, in your mind's eye, visualize everything you hate being down.
You know what's so
So
funny
you
though,
don't
Tracy,
need to.
this time around with all this bullshit, I'm not even mad at anyone. I don't even hate anyone. I'm not even
I
upset
know,
about
that's what
it.
I'm saying.
Yeah,
So it's going to
it
be
just is what it
easy.
is. Yeah, it
It's
just
going to be
is what it
easy
is.
then.
And what that
Absolutely.
is
And
stuff that I
all
don't
that you
need.
got is everything ahead of you or what's above you is all that you see. You
Yep,
never see nothing that's beneath you.
yep, absolutely.
Don't
Girl,
look
listen,
down. And
I
make
love
just a
you.
conscious effort keeping your head up. And it will start from there and it will grow. That's just the seed in your ear, just planting it now.
Well,
Make a conscious effort to keep your head up. Make it that simple to not look
it is
physically
that
down.
simple. It is that simple, and I agree with you.
It is
And I
that
think
simple.
it
Absolutely.
really is.
It is.
And
It is
and
that
I
simple.
appreciate you, and I love you. And I'll call
Thank
you
you. I love
tomorrow
you
later
too.
on into the day when I'm at the
And
beach when I know you're awake. I know you like to sleep in.
thank you. Let's look at he said Tiffany. Good night, Tiffany and SG. It was
Good night, Mr. Jones.
oh, I thought he said it was my favorite talk. Ha, he said it was my but I still think he said it was my favorite talk. Thank you, Mr. Jones. I'll have Tiffany remove the real comment and I'll just say it was my favorite talk, right?
All right, girlie, I'm gonna go to bed.
All right, count down with
I
me
love
and
you.
let's say peace, love, and tacos together
Okay,
because I'm
ready?
going to. All right, ready? One, two, three,
Okay.
five. Five,
Four,
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 three,
three, two,
two, one.
one.
Peace, love, and tacos, everybody.
Tacos. Good
Good
night.
night. Bye.